Why is it that some people have more of an attachment to the globe, and for others, it's like much easier to let go of? What do you think makes that difference?
Atheism.
You mean atheists more likely to believe globe, not atheists less likely? But there's a lot of like Christian globers though.
There's a few. There's a few.
Although in these discussions, like, I mean, if you're just like a Christian or some religion, but then you're out in the world, you were just taught the globe, but you don't really know that much about it. That's different than like people in this community that's like either like Mathew learns or something. Like he's actually more rare, isn't he? To a degree, like a hardcore Christian and also hardcore glober. Like that's actually somewhat more rare.
About him bothers me, like something like it seems unauthentic. I don't know. Maybe that's my problem and my
I get the same thing though.
Yeah, it's just a vibe I get. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. That's the vibe sometimes I get from him.
It's the lack of overt arrogance and some self-control.
Yeah, rubs us
A
all the
lack
wrong
of
way.
arrogance.
Yeah,
I mean, he is big.
loud, overt arrogance, getting completely over passionate on the subject, looking at things unbiasedly and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll give him that. He is very cool, calm, and collected. I've never really heard the man angry before.
Nobody has ever in his life. You should tell him because nobody's ever called him cool. I mean, I found the correlation a
I mean,
while.
I meant cool, cool and temperance, not swagger.
Yeah, he's never lost
No,
his
I
cool,
know.
apparently. He lost his
I
cool one
haven't. Maybe-
time when he was 5.
Did he? I don't know. Maybe if someone's seen him screaming, but I've never seen the guy lose his cool.
No, I haven't.
he works
That's a
with
plus.
kids,
That's
man.
not a bad thing.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that is a plus. If he work with kids, that's the type of temperament you want working with kids.
I don't know if you were talking about the anti-flat earther or the glober, because I don't know. You can't really say it's hard for a regular run-of-the-mill glober to drop the globe because they never even heard of a flat earth or that there's some other kind of option out there. They assume it's known and proven. They don't know how, but so.
Echoplex typed in the chat. He said, respectfully, education makes the difference. As insulting as that might sound, it's true. And it's also fixable. Just get educated about the topics and it becomes clear that it's not flat. That's his comment. I would like to say that is the opposite of the truth on every level, and here's why. The most uneducated people in this world are globe earthers because they have, just in general. And people that are into flat earth are usually very, very educated. Have either like graduate degrees or college degrees, or even if not all those degrees, they have like tremendous education about the globe model, and they've come to the conclusion that it's not flat. And people out there that are uneducated who don't even know anything about the globe believe it's a globe. So what he said is just so the opposite of the truth. Amazing how people can do that. So
yeah, it's not even taking into consideration like the idea of street smart, book smart, just regurgitating information that was given to you.
It sounds like something an atheist would say. I mean, I'm not trying to take it to religion, really. I'm really not. But that is the common factor. I mean, I can almost like go down a line and be like, yeah, this dude hates God, this dude hates God, or the idea of God, or whatever. You can go to Gem Pandas for evidence if you want. I don't know.
I mean, but like Gio said, there are lots of Christian globe earthers, anti-flat earthers, or at least religious ones. So I think it can be. Just like one point, like I think it can be the case, but I think it's more to do with people who are desperately like it would be like literally like something akin to suicide to be a flat earther because it would take them out of like adulty, common sensey in their opinion, like conversation. They'll be like even if they don't go and tell other people, in their mind they'll no longer feel like they fit into like polite society. Just that's what I think.
Yeah, but if I were to like define a religious person, like or like an atheist person or whatever, right? If I were to say, well, like there's some kind of, I don't know, religious person who has like an authority that dictates what is true and what is possible or not possible. Like that's like a religion. And the Globers, right? Who they if I ask them like what dictates what is and is not possible, they're going to point to the universe and the globe. That's their God. Yeah, you can't take that's their religion.
Yeah, well, in that sense, yes, obviously they're religious. But I mean, like in terms of like, I don't think the deity aspect of it, like, because there are again people who believe in the Christian God or other gods, lots of Muslims
Yeah,
too.
I'd like to comment on that. I think it's a product of this Discord, or not just this Discord server, but like this kind of like community on Discord shared amongst several servers. I don't think if you're a Christian Glober, you're really interested in dealing with a lot of flat earthers. Um, just in general, I think Globers that we're encountering are the most toxic and biggest time wasters in the Glober, like in the whole idea of the globe. Like I think you're seeing atheist Globers because those are the only guys those are the only guys toxic enough to stick around just to argue with you and waste your time.
That's a good point. Like, what do you think though? Is it a possibility that some people don't have a method for finding out if they're right or wrong? That is a huge point. Like, how do you know if you're wrong about something? Like, what's your method?
They ask the globe. That's what they do. They say, oh globe, show me what is true," and then the globe becomes the axiom for truth that all things are only possible through globe. I mean, I see it. Watch it happen. Oh, you can ask. I mean, you can give a scenario like what is the limitation of vision? Well, globe. Well, what about refraction? Well, refraction's only possible on globe. All of reality is only existent. It's their God. Yeah. If you take that away, they're gonna have to appeal to something else that they don't want to. That's what I see. That's what I see. And then like a flat earther says, "Listen, I don't know. Like I don't know an answer to something. It hasn't been given to me." They'll say, "Well, all you need to do is go educate yourself on globe, and all answers will be revealed to you. The truth will be revealed through the education system of globe."
The Great Globe.
If you only knew and could be, in communion with globe, you would too know the truth. They'll tell you.
I think it has a lot to do with this discernment, just discernment on many levels. Because you can be educated about something, but it's how do you discern whether that information is true or not?
Would you call that wisdom too, Gio? Is that like a good definition of wisdom? Is like proper discernment?
Yeah, like application of the information, not just the information on its own. Because you can just take in a bunch of globe stuff and then go troll flat Earth servers and try to harass people and just repeat the thing. But to actually apply the information and actually understand what is being said and to actually accurately discern it, yeah, that would be more into the wisdom category.
Yeah, it's like you have like knowledge on this side of things, which is like just existent. It exists already, like the knowledge is possible, but then the application of that knowledge, you would have to use your discernment or wisdom to actually find a truth in that knowledge too. Yeah, and that's something that's lacking, man. That's a big one.
What was the question again? Why is it hard to drop the globe? Yeah, I mean, I think my answer is the real answer. I think that's the real answer. I mean, imagine a scenario where, there's no globe, there's no flat Earth, right? I mean, then what? I mean, like, then you're just lost. You're like, well, what grounds me? You're like, where do you come from? All answers are lost now. You got to get grounded again. Well, okay, I came from the ground. Okay, what is the ground? The ground that gave life to me. It is. I have to know the thing that has given life to me. Otherwise, it's like I have no justification. How could I say the ground gave life to me if I don't even know what the ground is? Yeah. maybe you guys don't remember, like, because it's been so long, right? But I know it happened to me. It happened to me. I was looking for replacements, like right away. Like it was like almost like I needed some kind of at least a hint of a reasonable replacement for certain things, like whether electric universe or something. Something. I was like, all right, it's got to be something that's reasonable. I can't just say it's like a star is not just I can't have nothing, right? So I mean, why do people need some sort of replacement? Like if somebody told you, yeah, things fall down, sure, gravity, and you never knew what density was, even on the most basic level, that you just that didn't exist, would you still have accepted and given up the gravity with zero, absolutely no replacement? I don't know. Maybe these are all rhetorical, deep questions I'm asking. I'll ask another then, since I'm on a roll here by myself. So then can you imagine then saying, I'm going to give up the entire, claim to knowledge that everybody claims they have and say, I know nothing. I don't know why things go down. I don't know what things are. What is a thing? And that's going to be my world. Yeah. And then somebody's going to ask me to give that up for what? Why would I give that up?
It's just you and me, no turn. It's over.
Roger. I mean, like to like Gio's question, like why is it hard? Like, should you expect somebody to give up a cohesive, coherent explanation for everything when you have nothing to offer? Not that there is nothing to offer, but if you had nothing to offer, you had nothing. Should you be like, dude, drop your globe, man? I got nothing for you. Come take it. Would you expect them to take
Well,
it?
Yeah.
okay, wait. But I would say, yeah, dude. That's like if you're about to eat a poisonous fucking sandwich or something, and I was like, "Yeah, don't eat fucking that sandwich is poisonous." And you'd be like, well, do you have something for me to eat for dinner? I'd be like, just fucking skip dinner for now, dude. Like poison is worse than fucking not having dinner, bro.
It's a good analogy. I agree. No,
No,
I
but
think
you don't even know
that
you don't even know what poison is.
I think the point here though is like, I mean, I would say, like, maybe you can agree or disagree with this, but I think like some people like to just do the apathetic method, right? Like maybe like me, maybe like looks like what's his name? Noah. But like some people, they like to have something where they can understand, quote unquote, like a big picture working model of something, and that's otherwise they just feel like lost in like a lost
Yeah,
puppy.
but that's like feelings and desires and wants. Like
I know some people are like
we
that, but
care about that, but reality does not give a fuck.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, would you rather attach yourself to a lie or a deception, or just be intellectually honest that you don't know yet? Like, if you don't know yet, why leap to something if you don't know 100%?
Well,
Is
this
it-
is actually this kind of touches on Noah's yesterday. I don't know what he did his thing yesterday, right? But like how if you're going to say, well, the globe is wrong, what evidence do you have that it's wrong? You'd have to have the truth. If the globe is the truth, right? And you're saying that's not the truth, then you'd have to bring forward some sort of truth, which would be the replacement. But without that truth, without that replacement,
No, it would be the
how would I
evidence
know?
that they're lying. Like I don't need to give you a real picture of the moon, like a real picture from the surface of the moon to show you that the astronauts never went there. I just need to give you the evidence of them faking it.
It's like kind of the old thing, like if there's a murder and you show up on the scene, you're a detective or a cop, and you see the bloody body and everything there, you can confirm someone died. Like there was something that occurred. Who did it? How it happened? You might not know yet, but you can come to one conclusion that that did happen. So if one were to come to a conclusion like we're not spinning, we're not on a globe, that you could do that without having the whole replacement.
No, you
Yet.
can't. And it wasn't about a lie, like for Noah's yesterday. I'm not honing in on the lie part about it, Noah. I'm honing in on the um, evidence for or against. You have to have, even if it's for something or against something, you have to have evidence for it. Like you can't,
Yeah,
like
that's
for
what I'm
instance,
saying.
yeah,
Is the flat
yeah,
Earth like my claim against the moon landing is not based on like it's based on the evidence of them faking it. It's not based on a lack of evidence that it's real. Like, oh,
right.
they didn't go to the moon because they didn't get this exact shot at this exact. That would be like arguing from an absence of evidence. But we
Yeah,
are
but
actually
I'm pointing.
arguing from a place of evidence and substance in that we show you the bloopers and the moon landing.
Yeah, what I'm pointing out.
Well, one
though
of my
is like,
arguments is
when-
one of
when
my
you-
arguments is actually an absence of it, because I make the argument that we haven't gone back in 50
That's
years.
circumstantial. So that's what you would call circumstantial evidence. So like circumstantial evidence by itself is not strong enough to like to definitively or rationally prove something. It's just like a
Right.
+1, right? You need something beyond circumstantial evidence. Like if I only have circumstantial evidence for a murder, I can't charge someone and put them to death, right? But if I do have some evidence of a murder and then a bunch of other circumstantial evidence, then it's like icing, right? You can't just come with just icing. If you have a cake, putting the circumstantial icing evidence on it makes it a lot better, essentially.
But again, like this is like
Okay.
yesterday's conversation, because like all of these things like circumstantial evidence or even like them having a blooper in their footage, all of this is still within the realms of abductive reasoning. Meaning abductive reasoning, you just translate it colloquially to like detective like reasoning. Because all of these like evidence which points towards a conclusion or heavily implies a conclusion but doesn't necessitate a conclusion. It's not deductive reasoning. And again, even with deductive reasoning, when it comes to the physical world, unless people accept the initial premises or the initial parameters, assumptions, then all bets are off. Like, for example, with refraction, only if people accept that light doesn't bend around corners can use, let's look at the long distance photography and say, look, it's flat. And obviously people just revise their initial assumptions when evidence, like even in a deductive sense. So you're always going to be in the realm of abductive reasoning when it comes to the physical world, ultimately.
All right, now I got this.
Unless
mic
you
thing
two
here.
agree on the
I
premises.
got the fucking mic thing. I got it. I got the mic. I grabbed it. My point.
Yeah, and so you said deductive works.
Dude,
but
hey,
you agree on the premise.
whoa! I got the mic, dude. I got it. I grabbed it a while ago. And my point is that there is no such thing as the absence of evidence. That's not a thing that exists. And you're always going to point to evidence in one way or another. So that's going to be the replacement. Is going to be evidence. It's not going to be the absence of evidence. It's not a thing. The absence of something isn't something you can reference.
But it is reference. Like people do that. So like
People
will say, like,
they call it that. Like, but even like they call it that, but that's not what they're actually referencing. Like when some, like if somebody would say, well, I know that the moon landing is fake because I saw something that should not happen there. Well, if somebody's saying, well, I saw something that should not have happened,
that's not an
then
absence of evidence.
I
That's not an example
right.
of an
There's no
absence
such
of evidence. So you're
All
not
right, give me
arguing against that.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an absence of evidence. As a reference to something, you're always
Yeah,
going to
there is,
reference.
bro. It's like an absence of evidence is like, let's see. I haven't seen any alligators in my life, therefore alligators don't exist. That's an argument from absence of evidence. You're
have to know what an
arguing that the
alligator is.
absence, right? But the absence of your sight of one would be an argument from absence of evidence.
That's an appeal to ignorance fallacy.
But you're just
Yeah, okay, that's the
you're
same. Yeah, but it's the
referencing-
same
you're
thing. It's the same
referencing
thing, bro.
whatever you're
Or one
referencing
is
whatever it is.
What Torah says doesn't
You're
disagree with
referencing
me.
whatever
It
that you
actually is
have
just an
sight or
addition.
seen. Motherfucker.
I'm sorry,
You guys
bro.
are-
I'm gonna just go on mute for a bit. Our timing is just weird, bro. Because every time I stop to let you go, it's silent, and then every time I go, you're already starting. I'm just gonna go on mute for 30.
You guys will get it. It's like a dance.
You're both delayed like the exact amount of time that you both tend to leave to see if someone else is talking. You just keep like, it's like a train. It's like
Dude,
a car crash.
ever since I got the iPhone 17, right, which is what I just got like a month or two ago, the longer I'm on Discord, the slower my push to talk button works. I just have to exit and come back in. It's weird.
Okay, so now I was just Googling it. So a logical fallacy where a claim is accepted as true simply because there is no evidence to prove it false, or vice versa, basically. So a claim is considered true because there's no evidence to prove it false, or a claim is false because there's no evidence to prove it true.
Exactly.
That's what guys do with the moon landing a lot. They'll be like, you can't prove it's fake, therefore it's real.
That's true.
As long as you can reduce the position to absurdity, though, and it's a true dichotomy. Like I think that's what a lot of knowledge has to come from. You have to set up first a true dichotomy, and then prove one position impossible.
Yeah, but then but again, that's the problem with physical reality. People will just revise their assumptions. Okay, so I said the long distance
So
photography.
then they're not. That's bad faith, bro. That's moving.
Well, obviously, bro. But obviously, it's just the problem. You can never actually corner them when it comes to physical reality. Look at the long distance stuff. Well, it just bends around corners. Then look at like relativity.
But that's not.
Oh,
it's not a
yeah,
critique of the reasoning or the argument. That's a critique of people being bad faith.
yeah, but there's the problem is it's not like an actual feel, like it's not like so when it comes to physical reality, it's not like mathematics where like people just are forced to accept the baseline assumptions or axioms. In physical, when it comes to physical reality, I guess they could just like verbally deny them even in math, but not really.
But there's an objective truth about reality. So if the person is in good faith, they should at least understand that, right? It's not possible that it's both flat and a globe, but you'll hear them say that, dude.
Yeah, of course. People are bad. Bad faith people seize on this weakness in arguments which relate to physical reality, which is you can always revise your assumptions. And here's the thing: even though it's bad faith, it could be the case that light bent around corners. There's just again here maybe this is an argument from the absence of evidence, right? But it's not really, because that's just my belief, right? That's why when it comes to your beliefs versus like what you claim is true, there's no fallacies when it comes to what you believe. There's only fallacies when you present an argument. So I don't believe that light bends around corners, because other than that one thing where they use that rare gas or whatever, and for a brief second you see light that is obstructed, I don't see evidence for like just random atmospheric conditions bending light around corners. So I just don't believe it happens. And I'm not choosing to do that. It's just that my mind is not convinced, like literally involuntarily, my mind does not believe that.
Yeah, but you've seen evidence where that light does not bend around corners. That's what you're actually referencing. Your experience where light doesn't do that. You're experiencing something true, or you're referencing something that's true, not the absence of something.
No, here's the thing. If someone could show me like a random atmospheric condition where light bent around a corner in a way that I could see that and test it for myself, then I'd believe it. But that was the first thing that like convinced me in the beginning, because I would just ask all the globe earthers, everybody, like, can I see, is there any evidence of this happening? And most of them don't even know this one, but there is that one thing, I think, that one video with the ball and some sort of gas, I forgot. Someone can give me the details if they know.
Propane tank thing?
Yeah,
it's liquid butane.
Yeah, liquid butane, yeah. And then you see. So that's the only thing, but that's just like, so in principle, someone goes, yes, light can, in this circumstance, bend around corners. So I can't invariably say light doesn't, bend around corners, because, if there's liquid butane in the atmosphere, I guess it can. But
well, it's pretty cold up there.
Exactly, it's pretty cool. But I'm guessing, like, if I've just never seen any lab version where they use just normal air and normal weather conditions, which they technically should be able to do to make light bend around something. So, that and it's involuntary. I don't choose to believe it. It's not like I choose to not believe that light can bend around corners. It just happens to be what my mind settles on.
I'll get you some Christmas lights and you'll be able to string them around corners, no problem.
I'll work too. That, and then literally just like when you see the sun fade out, when you see like the high altitude footage, you see the local hotspots, and you see like the shadows on the moon just not looking anything like it should on a ball. Like all that stuff just visually just makes me be like, okay, their story is bullshit. I don't choose to. It just looks not like what they're saying it is.
What about nighttime being the shadow of the Earth? That seems like a big conundrum there, dude.
Acoustic globe shadow.
Yeah, just the way that the way that the night even comes upon us, like gradually, as opposed to like violently ripping. I mean, just like,
Yeah, there's no like line. Because isn't there that idea is that there's like a line or a shadow on the moon when the sun is setting? Shouldn't there be some sort of a line? And I guess what is the argument? That it's fuzzy, that it's not, it's like a blurry line where the shadow of the Earth is and where the illuminated part of the Earth is. They say right on the moon there's like a shadow there would be no. I don't know. What do you guys?
It's the lack of atmosphere.
I think it's very weird that the entire world views when it's a like a waxing moon. I think it's very strange that the entire globe world views the moon, the same moon, and they can all see it. I think it's very weird.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, you
Yeah,
should check it out
that's
tonight.
another
It's
weird thing,
super
bro.
long.
dude, it's just overall just at an abductive level, tidally locking just the coincidence much, and then it's like the size of the sun and the moon. Even that is like, come on, man. Like, but I guess Christian Globers can say God made it that way. Fair enough.
But the whole world has the whole world, everybody on Earth right now, whatever the moon phase is, waxing, waning, has the exact same moon phase, and they can all see it all around the globe. Very
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, it's a super moon
Fucking
tonight.
weird,
Go
yeah.
out and check it out.
But what causes day
The
and night,
moon
right?
week.
Isn't that the Earth rotation? When the sun's on the opposite side, it's now night. But then the moon, you can see no matter where you are. It's a very strange globe.
It's reflecting
The
the
wild, wild
sunlight
world.
while in the shadow.
Ooh, baby, it's a wild world. Putting in that work.
Is it true that when you go higher and higher, the stars never lower, like in your field of view?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's listen. I mean, it's been told to me, but it's just been told, and I asked him why. But that you remember the video of the guy going in two directions, and then oh, why do the stars not rise and set at this
Yes.
in this way? Okay.
Yes.
In that video, yeah, that doesn't align. And the reason that he said, because he's a flat earther, he said, I don't believe that video because that doesn't align with my idea of the stars rising and setting due to perspective. But as their field of view increased, this is why this is another reason why I said it to you the other day. It's not taken into account enough the field of view. As their field of view changed at that elevation, then the stars just in that video at least rise and set differently. They don't go up at 15 degrees or whatnot.
Yeah, they don't match the globe or like like a standard like I mean I don't know.
They don't or flat
Or
Earth
flat
in that
or,
video.
or, or like the
Yeah.
standard flat conception. Kind of weird to think about it. No, I never thought about that. I was only when I watched that video, I was only thinking how it didn't fit the globe. But yeah, it doesn't really fit flat either. And then I've heard also that if you get to a certain altitude, you don't even see the stars.
Yeah, I don't have any evidence of that. The only thing I mean, I don't have any evidence of it. I don't have any evidence of a lot of things, but I don't have any evidence. I don't have any
Well,
evidence that these GPs of stars are at the angle that they say they are. Tons of shit. But
I mean, that's the problem with the celestial theodolite, even from a flat perspective, right? Because you don't know. We also can't claim that we know the true position of the star. So like, how can we also claim that like there's a straight line? It's more, you can more just use it as an internal critique of the globe. If that is the true position, then it should not be seen there.
well, even just the
Well, that's all they
yeah.
have. Sorry, no thanks. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to say, even the gathering of we'd only be testing it against what we're told the angle should be from that position at that azimuth and angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Isn't that what like we have been given is a method to falsify things? Like I don't know if anyone has a method to reach a truth yet, except that when you falsified something, it is true that you falsified it, right?
And physical reality, yeah, I suppose you're correct. I mean, and I think you can prove things true in
Nah,
pure
the
abstract.
Globers got a method, dude. They definitely have a method to the madness. It requires a little meth to understand it.
That's fine.
I had to, bro. I had to.
They have too much faith and too many gods, I think is the biggest problem.
Them's fighting words. I like how you guys bait them in. You trigger them.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like a ton of faith to believe in that. Everything came from nothing, and now we're just all of this stuff just so happens to be placed in ever so perfect condition, thanks to the god of gravity.
You're talking.
No, the god of Kronos.
Every time Torah talks now, all I'm getting is here, Glover, here, Glover, here, come on.
They give credit to the god of Kronos and the god of accidents.
They're not taking the bait, boys. Sorry.
It's like it's almost, I don't want to say that you're using a tactic, but it is similar to a tactic in a way that you're diverting from the actual argument that we all agree there are certain things that are wrong.
Good. Allow me to make an analogy, guys. May I? Either for Lion
Go ahead.
or
You may.
do either of you know how to play chess?
I understand the
Dude, I'm
concept
gonna
of a
back
game.
up.
I understand.
So, what's the
Let me say this.
goal?
Let me just say this one thing. I'm backing out, dude. I'm not doing this. Somebody else can debate you. I just want to say this one last thing, bro. That the Bible talks about in Genesis that people's thoughts were evil continuously, right? Before the flood. I highly doubt that every single person in the world today, though, is of that elk. Right, that you have narcissists walking around where their thoughts are evil continuously. Most people do have convictions in their hearts, natural convictions. Sometimes those convictions will align with the will of God. Sometimes they won't, and I truly believe that. Right, but where are these convictions coming from? Why are they there?
That's what I'm trying to answer with my analogy, my friend. So, do you know how to play chess?
Yes, go.
What's the goal? The goal in chess. What's the goal?
It's subjective.
Come on, go to your point.
It's subjective, but the concept of the game is more important in this matter.
If checkmating the king is the primary goal in chess, we can all agree that any good move is a move that helps you checkmate the opponent king, and any move that helps your opponent checkmate you is a bad move. We can objectively determine.
It's entirely subjective, right? Your move is based on their reaction. It's not just based on your move. It's based on the reaction.
What the move achieves. Like even if you think subjectively it's a good move, the move helps your opponent checkmate you. It's objectively a bad move.
Yeah, but what if I
lack of response?
What if
response is?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Rigger. Sorry.
Back to the main point in morality, if we determine a set goal to morality, like say compassion, then anything that is uncompassionate would be immoral, and anything that fits
That's the difference between ethics and morality.
This is a way to ground them.
Yeah, morality is like the standard, and ethics is how you achieve the standard. You're just differentiating between those two things. And not really affirming what are morals. You're saying, well, if the moral standard is to checkmate the king, then the ethics, the modality in which I then get you into checkmate is this. Therefore, it's good because it's aligned with the moral objective of checkmating the king. Then it's good. Yeah, you're not really honing in on it.
Yeah, we're talking more about
the move is good because it works. Doesn't mean it's going to work in every situation, right?
Yeah,
because how this applies literally, even ethically or morally, what's going on here is we are basically setting a goal for ourselves. So if we have a goal set, even if that goal is made, let's say subjective,
you just walk past your entire breakdown of the analogy and how it fails and it's not applicable. So you just hand wave it away, you don't address it, and you carry on with your original point of how it's analogous when I just demonstrated how it's not.
Let me get to the point. So by having compassion as a goal, when you do something uncompassionate and are aware that it is uncompassionate, given that you want to be a compassionate person, you will feel bad about it. That is where the conviction comes from.
Okay, what's your point?
But my point was answering, they were asking where that conviction comes from. It comes from the fact that you are aware that you violated a set goal, such as compassion, and therefore you feel guilt over it. It's just that.
It's just
there's nothing more to it than that.
It's your assertion. You put out an assertion and you say, well, because of this, then that. All right, well, that's your assertion. That's not the stance others were taking. You just gave them that stance, claimed it was their stance, even though it's not their position. So you can argue against it. So just a straw man with a shitty analogy.
Falsify
to
it.
point
Then.
out.
Falsify
So
it. Then,
I don't have to.
Now you're just ad hominem. You're just doing an ad hominem up there.
I don't have to commit to your straw man. That's just you creating an argument for me to argue again.
Do you know what a straw man is? Because a straw man misrepresents someone else's
argument that nobody else had.
Not what I did. I did not misrepresent.
Nobody had your argument.
I simply answered a question of where does this conviction come from, and I did a valid answer to that. And you are free to try and falsify it.
So then your Stormette, like or Stormette or whatever it is, your answer is that morals, right? They exist objectively. There is an objective moral, i.e., there is a goal, like right? The goal is to checkmate somebody. So there is a moral. There is a moral objective. And that standard must be appealed to, and everything that we're convicted to do, everything that we're convicted to do, is set upon by the standard that is objective, and those are our ethics that we then align to the moral standard that's upheld eternally. That's your point. That there's a game set match, that there is a moral objective standard that we ought to achieve.
No, because the goal itself can be subjective. So the subjective goal, someone wants to be evil, and their moral standard being evil is good, but that's their goal. If their goal is to be moral, which has ties in definitions to compassion and so on, and minimizing harm, if the goal is to be moral, objectively, you can determine if what you're doing causes harm or not.
So what game is this? This is no longer chess.
Harm, it goes against morality.
Yeah, this is
no matter
how
how you think it or subjectivize it, if you cause harm, you are going against the set goal of morality.
So you're gonna have to ground that at some point, but or give some kind of justification. But you gave the analogy that that morals are chess, which is like unchanging, an objective moral standard, and now we have some ethics to implement in order to achieve the moral standard by moving like the pawns up or the knights up or the bishops around in order to achieve the standard. I mean, nobody's disagreeing with that, but then you're using that analogy to say that the game of chess is subjective. I mean, that's silly.
Actually, you're misrepresenting here, because when I was using the analogy of chess, I was strictly determining how do we know if a move is good or bad. It's
because there's a moral objective standard. That's what you gave. Yeah, you said because there's a moral objective standard to the game, that there is a objective goal. Yeah, to checkmate the king. Yeah, so therefore.
But if someone is playing with the goal to not checkmate the king, are they playing chess or are they playing a completely different game? That's the difference.
The only thing that determines whether your move was good or not is if you win.
No.
Right? Yeah, the goal is necessary. The goal is what you're pointing out is that the goal is necessary. The objective moral standard or the goal of chess is necessary to determine whether something is good or bad, because you'll say, well, now I'm not trying to checkmate the king, therefore it is bad because it goes against the moral standard that's upheld. So the moral standard is a thing that's necessary to reference in order to know what ethical standard you should appeal to. Listen, I mean, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's no problem. Just admit that there is a objective moral standard so that you can even derive any oughts. That's all.
Well, the objective moral standard is in the definition of morality. If you want to appeal to morality, you have to fit the definition of morality itself.
Yeah, the objective moral standard that we ought to appeal to.
Yep,
there's no
there's
ought
one,
to.
and it's being
morality
revealed.
Isn't an obligation, though. There's no ought to or an ought not to. It's not an obligation. Is if you want to be a good person, act like a good person. That's it.
How do you know that?
Good person. This guy doesn't know what a good person is without the objective moral standard that the game has set upon him and bestowed upon him with the obligation to ethically, obtain to that standard. Yeah, I mean, that's silly.
Yo, real quick.
You need it. It's necessary.
Who's got that techno music up? Yo, somebody got music playing. You hear that?
Yeah, it's
you got that European Disco. I don't know what that is, dude. What is that?
Stormette right now. If you've ever seen the movie Super Troopers, he's like the girl and the guy who are in the car. He's driving right now, arguing that God doesn't exist because he wants to have sex with that girl on the hood of the car. That's what he's doing right now.
That's pretty funny, man. I'm sitting alone in my bed.
With techno? Come on, man.
Yes, I have tinnitus and I have music running here 24/7.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, listen, but it's just, it's fine and everything. Like, you want to argue and everything, right? But your analogy, it's not even your fault, man. It's not like your fault.
Hold on,
it's
dude,
it's engraved and it's woven into the fabric of reality that in order for you to say whether something is good or bad, what you ought to or ought not to do, is going to be, derived from the moral objective standard that is set onto you, and it's just laid onto you, and you can't avoid it. There's no way to avoid it.
Hold on. Yeah, I know I said I was going to say last thing, and I lied, dude.
You lied. You're a liar. It's bad to lie.
I'm a liar, dude. I'm a liar and a thief, dude. No, I'm joking. No, I'm not.
That objectively, morally proper behavior?
No, this is funny, bro. Hold on. I got to analyze this for a second. Yo, this guy said he's got tinnitus, right? He's got music bumping mad loud, dude. Why do you think you got tinnitus? Either you got lead poisoning or some type of mercury poisoning to vaccine injury, that, or you got music playing all day too loud, dude. That's why you got tinnitus.
Actually, I used to listen to my music much too loud, yes, and probably one of the contributors to my tinnitus, yes. Now my music is still at a very paced volume. It's just background noise to me, and I even use it for sleeping. So yes, I sleep under techno as well. And if I do not sleep under techno, well, then I will hear that big ring in my ear, which is in the note of E.
Fabulous. All right, now I'm just curious, bro. It's cool. I've heard of people with tinnitus, and I feel bad. If they've been to war, if you ever been like around heavy explosions, anything like that, concussions.
I mean,
no,
I can't say I have specific memory of my entire past 30 years of my life, but there were probably some events that were loud here and there, and been in bars and parties and whatnot. So yeah,
you got dropped on your head when you were a baby, you think?
Oh yeah, that's so funny, buddy.
Just turn the volume on.
Is it a good thing that you can no longer hear, or is it a bad thing?
I can still hear. The problem is that I also hear a constant note in my ear, which I cancel out with music and noise.
Sir, that is a dodge. Is it good or is it bad that you cannot hear? And what is the purpose and the intention of hearing, so that you can then denote what is good and bad?
Well, hearing is a sense usually used to detect sound, and often
that is another dodge
or predator detection. So that's the purpose of it, detecting predators and running away before they catch you. Also detecting prey as well to eat.
Are predators bad or are predators good, sir? You're dodging the question. Are predators good or bad?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it? What's the authority that makes it true that being prey is bad?
Why do you need an authority to determine if something is good or bad?
The authority that makes it true that an authority is not necessary. Answer the question you're dodging.
We have definitions on words. If we're speaking English and expressing a word with English, then that is purely enough. We do not need an authority behind what we're meaning when we're saying X or Y.
Mute him. Somebody mute him. This is just gibberish. Mute him. How old are you?
Mute him right now.
How old are you?
37.
I'm old enough to be your father. Okay, so why don't you just sit down and listen?
That doesn't mean jack shit, my friend.
You're done. You're done.
What's the authority that makes it
Respect
true?
The elders,
it doesn't matter that my wisdom and my age has an authority over your.
Governed.
What do you mean by authority?
Respect your elders, Larry.
Yeah, but Stormette, how do you know No Tanks is not your father objectively? Because No Tanks could be your father.
Right? He could.
But we don't objectively know that. Would that be subjective or objective that he's your dad?
How do you know to breathe if you can't know things?
Dude, how did this turn into a Maury Povich show? You are the father. What is going on? We got Stormette's punk music going on in the background or something. You got to turn that off, dude. We're live streaming. I don't know what you're doing.
Muted.
I love it, dude. I low key like it, dude.
Just thumping bass.
It's a little bit. It's just enough that we can still have a good conversation, but it's like just there, a little bit.
All right, no tanks. You are his father. Congratulations, he's your son. Now what?
If I hug him right now, is it going to get awkward in here or what?
All right. Well, if you didn't pay child support for his 18 years, do you have a problem with that morally? Do you think that was morally right to skip out on the child support payments?
Well, I don't want to get too serious, but I do feel that the parent is morally obligated to uphold and to provide a sufficient life for their child. I do feel that that's a moral obligation.
Is that objectively true or just a feeling that you have?
No, I believe it's objectively true. Through the creation, it's been shown.
There is no authority governing truth. Things are true because they happen to be fucking true. Like, my shirt is blue because my shirt is blue. There's nothing that can govern or be an authority to determine why my shirt is blue. It's blue. So the statement is true
you accept
because my shirt actually is blue.
So you accept circular.
Truth works. There's no authority behind it.
So you accept circular
there's
reasoning?
No moral obligation either.
So do you accept circular reasoning at that point? Right? Because it's blue, it's blue.
That's not circular reasoning. Circular reasoning
it's blue, it's blue, isn't circular.
By assuming the consequent in the same. When I'm applying how truth works, how something is true because the matter of the fact happens to be, it's not circular reasoning.
That's circular reasoning. You're affirming the premise.
Yeah, so that would be circular reasoning, but at the same time, how do you know it's blue?
Okay, so the statement, my shirt is blue, is only true if the person wearing the shirt and making the statement has a blue shirt. If the shirt is not blue, the statement is false. If the shirt is blue, the statement is true. Those are the only determining factors in the veracity of the matter.
Okay, how would anyone know that it is blue? Like, what is making us trust our senses to that extent to be like, yo, I can make a judgment call on reality based on...
Even with people who can't see color or color blindness and so on, we can evaluate the wavelength of the light being emitted, and therefore we have the measure for blue being a specific wavelength of light. So if the shirt is under that wavelength that we can test, it is blue, no matter what perception of the color is.
Okay, so only physical things, empirical. So we have to use empiricism to that certain extent, right? How do we know empiricism is true?
Well, now you're just making a circle. How do we know this? How do we know that? How means that? And you're just basically...
No, I'm specifically addressing your point. No, I'm specifically addressing
my point was very well specified. Asking
we can prove things
how
through
to everything
reality.
And how means how, and how does
That's
how
not
mean
what I
how
asked.
is not going to bring you anywhere.
Please don't
One at a
misrepresent
time,
me
gentlemen.
like that. Yeah, please don't misrepresent me like that. That is not my point.
I'm not
Your
misrepresenting
whole
you.
point.
You're literally cycling how to every single thing that is said.
No.
Please, one at a time.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I forgot my point because this guy just went on about...
How do we know true is true? It's not a good question to ask.
He's getting mad because you're pressing him. Right,
there is no anger involved.
Right, following his logic chain back to his premise, right, and asking him to defend his premise. And I don't know, he's freaking out.
Are these like Stormette? Are these brute facts, or are these contingent upon some other state of affairs so that you can assert the state of affairs about shirtness?
There are brute facts in the world, and there are statements that are also contingent.
Right, how do you know that? How do you know that there are brute facts?
How do you know that there's not?
I'm asking you, how do you know the thing that you're proclaiming, a brute fact, a fact that exists in a vacuum, that's non-contingent, non-dependent on anything else to reveal the trueness of the fact is
how do you
something
know
that
your
exists?
right hand
How do you know that?
How do you know your right hand exists?
Because it's contingent. You're claiming that it's
No,
non-contingent.
that doesn't explain why it exists. Being contingent.
That's how I gave my answer.
Superman is contingent, but he still doesn't exist.
Listen, my hand is contingent upon my arm, and I know my arm
Okay,
exists
how do you
because
know
it's
your arm
contingent
exists?
upon my shoulder.
How do you know
Because my
your
shoulder
shoulder
exists because it's contingent upon. Yeah, I could go through the whole contingency
And how do you
argument.
know
guys. You'd love
all
to hear
those
it.
contingent things actually exist? You have no idea.
Yeah, because
you
God
have
had
no
revealed
grounding.
it to us. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
'cause
fit into an
Okay.
ontology and an epistemology. So there's an epistemology that allows me to determine why and how my right hand exists, and there's an
All right, what
ontology
is that?
that allows me to
What is it?
determine that it
All right, what
exists.
is
Yeah,
it?
what
That
is
is
it?
how I
What is it?
know that my hand exists.
Okay, what is it though? What is your epistemology? What is your
He said
ontology?
it's not important. He said it's not important, which I thought was really weird. Maybe I misheard him. Is it important to know how you know what you know?
I don't know. Epistemology is indeed.
No, think about it. Think about it honestly. Like, I thought I heard the gentleman say that it's not important how I know. Like, that's one of the most important things, how to determine truth.
You
Yeah,
understand
otherwise
what
your
a
reasoning
fundamental
is
is. What does the
unreasonable.
word fundamental mean?
Sir, can you just address what I said? Did
non-contingent.
you say it's not important to
I
know
never
how you know what you know?
Primary.
Okay, maybe I misheard. Go ahead.
Did somebody mute him? What happened? Stormy.
Well,
Stormettle. Where are
Yeah.
you, kiddo?
What do you need?
when you recognize that what you think it and what is different things, you know, that's
Yes,
a moment
ontology and
where there,
epistemology are different things, but they can relate together to form a foundational basis.
Okay, what's the foundation?
What's making
Larry
that
asked you,
possible?
Tora asked you, Andy asked you. You need to answer the question, kid. All right, or I will disown you as my child.
Is that morally
Okay.
right? Oh,
I don't know about that.
publicly.
Well, first of all, do you know what something fundamental is? Do you know what fundamental means?
yeah, dude. We
Larry?
already said it. Like they said 4 different versions
Okay,
of
so
fundamental.
I can't proclaim to know the actual fundamental principle to existence, but I can determine that there is a necessary fundamental principle to existence. That is how I
So
can
I know
also
nothing?
know that there is one, even if I don't know
So you-
what exactly it is.
Well, so you know nothing, but yet you know something. That's incoherent, dude. That
Enough
doesn't
to
work.
be
either.
emotionally motivated. to
How about yes? That's the
comprehend
words that
something.
I said instead of trying to strawman them.
Yeah, you said I know nothing, right? So therefore, I know there's something, but I don't know.
That is
I
not
don't
what I
know that.
said. I'm pretty sure
But
my
I know there's
sentence
something.
was much more
But I can't
articulated than
discern.
that.
Well, you're basically saying I can't discern what's what, but I know something.
No, that's not what I was asserting. That is what you
That's
are
exactly what you
understanding
said.
out of it.
All right, well, clarify that because obviously it's.
Well, I'm trying to, but you wouldn't let me. Like when I ask you what do you think fundamental means, you have no answer to that, do you?
Yeah, I said foundation. Like just look at it as a foundation, right?
Okay, it's a foundational basis, yes, to something. What exactly do you grasp out of that?
I don't know what
Listen,
is
you're
your
switching to
foundation.
burn the fruit
What
form
does
to
it
pure
imply?
rigor. And
What does it
he may
imply
have missed a step there. No big deal if he missed a step,
What does
kiddo. But
fundamental
listen,
imply
you're saying that you
in
have some
forming a
kind of like
foundational basis to something?
yeah, you have some kind of correlation to whatever it is, right? You're claiming that which is necessary, which is absolute, fundamental, non-contingent, non-derivative, that you're able to reference in order
Fundamental
to
is
make
by
that truth
definition
claim. In
necessary and
order to make that truth claim, that you don't need to reference the absolute, non-contingent, fundamental, necessary condition for all precondition for all being. So how
if
do
I
you
were to
know that that's true? And how do you know anything that you're proclaiming? Larry asked you a question, and listen, you're not coming to Thanksgiving until you answer the question. All right, and you're
All
not
right.
going to get any Christmas gifts from me.
That's fine, but
That's right.
you need to understand the clarity of the words being used, such as fundamental here.
Right, but
Yeah,
you're trying
fundamental,
to say.
necessary,
let
non-contingent,
me
precondition.
exemplify.
In order for you to make that
You were to
statement, I'm
ask me
telling you
the
what it
question,
is, man. Listen to your papa and answer the
I wasn't
question.
done
Larry asked you a
speaking.
question.
I'm sorry, I wasn't done speaking. If you
All
were
right, go
to
ahead.
ask me what is a fundamental principle contingent on, you are already making a mistake in your own question, because you're asking if something is something that is non-contingent, what it's contingent on. It's non-contingent. So asking what it's
not a
contingent on
foundation.
is an error.
Well,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying here.
I
So
didn't ask that. Listen, remember what I said. Remember what I said. I didn't say that.
Contingent
That's a
on,
bit
you have
different
to
than where the
settle.
conversation was
You
going.
have to settle epistemically. You have to settle on fundamentals. You have to settle
Listen,
on.
just answer Larry's question. Why is it not? Why do you not? Dude, stop talking. Stop talking, or I'm gonna spank you. I'm gonna fucking smack you. Stop it. Are you gonna talk while I talk every time? Larry asked you, dude, stop it, or I'm gonna smack you around and I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you. Stop it. Stop it.
Just because I'm answering your question. Cute.
Stop it.
So what's the point of asking?
Larry asked you a very simple question. He asked you what it is that you reference.
And I answered it, and you've been interrupting me
That's
all
ultimate,
along. So
non-contingent, fundamental, and ultimate in order for you to predicate that it's not necessary for you to reference the thing that's ultimate, non-contingent, and fundamental for you to make your predication upon. What is it?
I'm sorry. What language are we speaking? No thanks.
English.
He's trying to figure out what your foundation is, dude.
Have you went to school to learn English?
I can translate it for you if you want me to.
So, because right now you're basically asking me to explain to you all the definitions of the whole entire English language as if you don't know the English language yourself. Can we set these commands that are completely pointless? Because
this is painful.
We're speaking English. These things are defined.
Somebody mute. So listen, I'm gonna have to mute. Somebody's gonna have to do it, kid. I don't want to be the listen, like mom and dad. Like who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Just answer the question.
How do you know what you know? Take a chill pill.
Threatening to mute me doesn't change the fact that
I swear this guy is just trolling us.
How do you know what you know?
He refuses to answer that.
And why does it seem to be not relevant? How you know what you know?
He's skipping steps. He's trying to skip steps in his argument.
Through learning, experimentation, trial and error, and understanding through epistemology.
Well, that includes making mistakes and being wrong. And recognizing
Correct.
being
Correct.
to
To know that I've been
yourself.
wrong about something, I have to be wrong about something.
Right, and that's what they're asking. How do you know when you're wrong?
When evidence proves me wrong.
Okay. So evidence has got to say, hey, dude.
Yeah.
Or if we're talking about something philosophical, instead of evidence, we can use logic. If it doesn't apply logically, if it's contradictory or does not fit the laws of logic, then it can be dismissed.
Yeah, I'm trying to throw you softballs so you can crack them out the park, but you're just not. You're just not. I don't know.
No,
you're not getting it.
I just wondered, can superposition be dismissed then, or because it seems to break all three laws of logic, right?
Elaborate.
There's a principle of locality that like A is equal to A, but not A is equal to A, but
yes, logically PPT
in a different location. What?
I mean, you probably know more about.
Well, he said
until it happens.
Sorry, go ahead, Leslie.
No, let Larry get it. He's trying to get in, I think.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Well, he said that, something fundamental doesn't have like a cause, basically. He didn't say those words, but the laws of logic says that you can't have something you can't have an effect without a cause. So even if the foundation is a cornerstone of a building, you still have to have someone to put it there, right? So there's always a cause to an effect.
It can be a cause and it can be uncaused.
The uncaused cause?
I might be getting confused. Is he appealing to the scientific method? I'm totally confused.
I don't know.
Obviously, to say that scientific method leads us to truth is logically incoherent. Even the mainstream guys say that, right?
No, I don't think the scientific method brings you to a false conclusion.
It can.
Well,
I'll give you an example.
I don't. Yeah, I want to hear this then.
Right. So vitamin C is necessary, right? If you don't have it, it causes scurvy, is what they say, right? But you could take all the vitamin C you want. If you don't have selenium, it makes it bioavailable, so you can absorb it. So when we figured out that you need vitamin C, how much longer did it take us to figure out that you also need selenium?
But how does that go against the scientific method when you got to those conclusions using the method?
Well, it's good. It's really good, but it's not 100% perfect because mankind is the one
Nothing
using
is.
it.
Nothing
Trial
gives
and
us all
error.
the answers
Trial
to the
and error is
universe.
helpful.
No, the only thing that's going to give you all the answers to the universe is if you choose to believe something and treat it as absolute source, right, of what is what. That's it. If you think you're going to take, like, prove everything empirically, I don't know. Good luck. At some point, you're going to, along the way, you got to speculate and make a decision. What do I want to believe in?
Thank you, Puriger. Exactly. At some point, you have to
Shut up,
settle
dude.
on
You
an
suck at
ontology.
this fucking shit, dude. Don't fucking think about nothing.
If,
I gave
if
you
you
like
if you
four softball
How
layup
civilized are you, my friend?
pitches,
How
and
civilized?
you just whiffed.
if you there's so many issues there. If you point into the first thing that jumps out to me, if you point into empiricism, then you're gonna run it. Inevitably, you've got sort of a fine tuning problem, then, aren't you? Which is, there's probably a dozen constants around us: strong, weak, nuclear force, gravity, all the rest of it.
Oh, it's
How
so
many others
limited,
is there?
yeah.
Can we name them all?
Phone that.
I don't know how many there is.
No, you're right though. Empiricism, like the scientific method, whatever you want to call it, it is limited. It's a limited tool. I just think it does its job extremely well.
Yeah, trial and error can work. Yeah, trial and error works well. So you can plug in, right, that the Bible into the trial and error method. You can apply it. You can apply the thing, see if if it says what happens happens. If that's what happens, all those things can be applied to it.
I love how Torah comes in with the Bible. I wasn't making any argument about Bible, but I love how he comes in and just there it is.
But you knew he was going to do it. At some point, he was going to get that in there.
To trial and error, actually.
Well,
Let's leave the Bible out of it because I don't ever get to speak when the Bible gets brought up.
Anyway, what I was trying to say,
I'm
bro,
saying you
is
can.
and
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Learn Chair. Sorry, brother.
that's okay. I'm just trying to get one thing across. Is the thing I disagree with the scientific method is putting on blinders, setting out just to prove or disprove your hypothesis. That's you're missing out on so much if you're not paying attention to what else is going on. And I've seen it time and time and time again. And yeah, that's my problem I have with the scientific method.
Well, you can't name one time where somebody did it right and then they did it and then everyone checked and then it turned out it was wrong.
Well, Learn Share. When someone is just trying to prove something true, it's easy to find proof even for a lie, or even coincidental proof for a lie. So when someone is just constantly trying to prove themselves true, they're falling into a confirmation bias. This is why the scientific method tries to prove itself wrong, to get outside of this confirmation bias.
It's not trying to prove it wrong. Oh, goodness.
The way the mainstream's doing science, then yeah.
It just
The way
removes
the
bias.
mainstream's doing science, then yeah, they can get it wrong. The way you're really supposed to do science, you just don't get it wrong, and it's never been overturned in the whole history of the scientific method.
Well,
I mean, if all possible tests fail to prove it wrong, it is most likely true. It would take new information to then prove it wrong.
Wait, would
You know what we
would
need?
that be true though? Would that be ultimately true? What you just said? Did you falsify it to the extent that you could say you falsified it?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about here.
You know what I think we need? I think us as a collective need to create some type of scientific or some type of method for the spiritual realm.
Well,
that's what we should be putting our heads together on.
Some of the scientific method with occultism.
We have to stop your heart for a minute.
Openness to it. It's not necessarily the best method, but it's a start.
It's called alchemy, by the way.
Like in
Start with
schools,
freezing your noggin.
in
And then
universities,
you're good.
they call it parapsychology into this day, but it's being adopted by what's called quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum. Anyway, it's part of spooky action at a distance, etc.
If quantum gets into the spiritual realm, they're fucked. Like if they try and
They
bring
already
quantum into
have.
that,
The thing is that the quantum realm is just basically probability. So everything in reality will have a quantum realm.
They already have, dude. It's already there because they've admitted in order for the wave function to collapse, what's required? An observer, conscious.
That's it.
No.
Dude,
No,
It requires a knower of the. It requires the knower of the path of which path it went through.
Not necessarily true. Wave
that's
function collapse also happens through decoherence, not just through observation.
If it is the case that it
But
has to be
observing
through
definitely
interaction.
collapses the wave function. Observation collapses the wave function, but it's not the only way to collapse a wave function.
No, interference collapsed the wave function. Observation
Correct.
means interference. How do you
Deconstructive interference and decoherence will cause something to emerge without observation.
Can you cite your source for that? I'd like to see that.
And what causes the interference? That's the whole entire thing. If it's basically, when you boil it down, if it's just something that turns sensation to perception, you're talking about a conscious observer.
Well, this is why we call it wavelengths. If you understand how waves work, like you take a body of water and you drop two droplets into them, and you'll have like these circular rings coming around. These are the waves, basically. These are all the probabilities going on. And as the waves hit each other, they will cancel out at certain points. And where they don't cancel out is where you're going to have emergence. That's basically why we call it wave function.
Yeah, someone said there's another way to collapse the wave function. Where'd you get that from?
Are you talking about me? The observation means.
This is like there being another way to boil water, though.
There is. You can lower the pressure.
What about? Can you
No,
collapse
someone
the
said
wave
it's
function
not
another
just.
way?
I'm writing it down.
What's the
It's not-
necessary
it's not
Ask him again,
precondition
Larry. Hold
for
on.
pressure?
Let Larry ask his question, man. Hold on a second.
Yeah, because someone said there's another way to collapse the wave function other than the knower of the witch path information. I asked for a source and he didn't respond. Maybe he's getting it.
I mean,
What's the other?
I'm not
way?
gonna go do your Googling and get all the official sources, but you're free
Oh,
to
okay,
go.
I'll just dismiss it.
Hey, let
Yeah,
me
I'll
finish.
dismiss it. Yeah.
You're free
Nah,
to
just tell
go.
us the
and
way.
Google
Hold
that,
on, man. Hold on a
but,
second, guys.
You are
Hold on.
guaranteed that all the
Yo, real
sources
quick,
about
man.
wave function and collapse will say that any interaction that forces the system to take on a definite state can do it, not just a conscious observer. Sorry, but you're
Can you
wrong.
just tell us? Can you just tell us the other way to do it, please? What's the name of the other way?
Well, we already talked about interference and decoherence, and basically, I just mentioned any interaction that forces a system to take on a definite state.
This is all Copenhagen interpretation anyway.
NASA, you didn't answer the question. NASA, Mr. NASA. Storm, you knock the fuck off, dude. You're out of line. You're just interrupting everybody. You're not aware. NASA, what is the necessary precondition for pressure?
Atmospheric pressure?
Answer the question. What's the necessary precondition for pressure?
There is no necessary precondition for pressure. Atmospheric pressure.
Okay, so you do not know what
we know pressure
is necessary for pressure to exist.
Atmospheric pressure,
next.
yeah. Gravity and the
Storm,
weight.
you're up, Storm.
Gravity and
NASA
the
failed.
weight above us, right? Same way as a pool. That's why pressure gets greater in the bottom of a pool, because of the weight of the water above you. You been in a pool before and dove to the bottom? Same thing happens in the atmosphere.
How long does the pool last if there's a vacuum above the pool?
It depends how much water is in the pool.
Well, let's say the entire Earth, there's no atmosphere whatsoever. How long does that pool last?
There is an atmosphere, unfortunately. I know there's a
Hypothetically.
Because I don't play what if
atmosphere.
games. I don't play what if games. Sorry.
Okay, so You don't know the answer. That's okay.
No, I know the answer. I'm not going to play what if games. There's no playing what
So
if.
does water boil in a vacuum?
Probability says you don't.
Playing what if games with flat earthers usually leads to you guys
You know the
misconstruing.
answer off the top of your head. You're telling me you know the answer off the top of your head.
He's
how
running.
long it would take for the waters to boil off Earth if all of a sudden there was no atmosphere? Bullshit.
Okay.
I'm not
So
telling you,
if you have, let's say, a ball of gas in a vacuum, okay, you're saying basically it's going to leak into space, basically into the vacuum.
Dance, varmint, dance.
So since there's gas leaking into the vacuum, how much atmosphere do you think Earth is leaking into space every day? Because there is a number of that. It is leaking.
Is a number. Well, why don't you go look it up and tell me? I don't have that.
Oh, I can tell you, it's about, if I recall correctly, about 90 billion
150.
tons.
And
90 to 150 metric tons a day.
And what percentage of the atmosphere is
And after that, you can look at what's going on at the surface, and you can determine that biological life, plants, and etc. are generating more gases, and there's gases leaking. This is why the system can stay pressurized.
Plants use more gas than they let off.
So that would mean that for 4.54 billion years, we've been leaking gas if we've had gas this whole time. And yet the water for, I don't know.
We are generating 142 billion tons of gas per day and leaking 90 billion tons per day, making a net profit of 50 billion tons of gas per day.
We're gaining this gas from where?
How much? What is that relative to the entire
We're gaining this
Yeah,
from
how much do we
radioactivity,
use?
biological
How much do
life,
we
not
use?
just the plants. You have
What
bacteria
percentage
too.
is that?
You have all the animals, all the gases emitted from biological life and geoactivity, which means volcanoes and so on, and water evaporation. Yes, you are generating enough gas to sustain the Earth
What percentage is
until
that?
about 7 billion years.
What percentage is that? I mean, you gave some really big numbers, but what percentage of that is that?
It's okay if you don't know. Just say you don't know.
No, I want him to tell me what percentage. I see, it's the problem with flat earthers when you give big numbers. You don't understand scale.
Is he a flat earther?
I'm not a flat earther. I'm literally defending the globe from the fact that Earth generates more gas than it leaks into space, therefore does not violate thermodynamics by being in a vacuum.
But all the gas comes from Earth, so how is the Earth generating it if it's already here?
You snuck in a preposition there.
Do you understand what geoactivity is?
Yeah, I know about volcanoes and shit.
Yes, you know about that, right? Good. So do you know how much gas that emits into the atmosphere?
Oh.
Basically from the bowels of Earth to the atmosphere?
No, it's not my claim.
Oh my. There seems to be a lot of material under Earth. A lot. There's a lot of stuff
So
under Earth.
we just been leaking it for 4.54 billion years?
Back up and into the atmosphere. And then you have trillions of bacteria, if not even quadrillions and quintillions of bacteria, which emit their own gases. And that is a lot of gases. You have the algae.
Where do they get it from?
Which emits gases.
Which
from the
all comes
materials
from
they
Earth.
consume. Well, why do you think you eat food? The gas.
You don't get it,
support,
dude.
where does
You just
that
don't
come
get it,
from?
man.
Definitely not the food you just ate, right?
Well, you don't
Definitely
get,
not
Larry,
digesting food.
what you don't understand is
Mimicking
all the
gas when you
gases,
fart.
all of the material, everything, it's
when
sucked
you-
in on
when
it,
you
it's
breathe-
sucked in on itself
When you
in
breathe,
order for it
you
to kind of
absorb
like let
oxygen
itself
and you
out.
emit carbon
And this
dioxide.
format is just
So,
unbearable.
yeah.
There's a reason you were on mute when you came in, and you had to keep jumping in and out, in and out, in and out, and saying, "Please, please, people, bear my personality, just for a little while." There's a reason that happens, Stormette.
I'm not the one being hostile and ad hominem and insulting people here. I'm just saying things that are actually facts, and you just don't like that.
The fact stands that you were muted, and you had to jump in and out, and people were like, "What's this dude or girl jumping in and out for? Should we unmute him or her?"
About the conversation about morality.
Just be aware that you're unbearable.
What's the likelihood of your own voice causing tinnitus?
I would say 0% because nobody has tinnitus from listening to me talk.
No, but you have tinnitus and you're always talking. So therefore, you might
Okay,
be the
so
source.
talking in a voice channel for 20 minutes is always talking. Congratulations, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you displayed a pattern to just constantly talk over people, so if others are talking, I can just, come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter to you and you will continue to talk. So you might be the source of your tinnitus.
Responding to someone who's talking to me is not interrupting, first of all.
Dude,
Second, I
listen,
let you
you
finish
talk too
everything that
much.
you said, so you're wrong.
I'm just gonna be direct with you because you seem to like argue the hypotheticals where people give you the option. You fucking talk too much. You are on mute because you fucking don't stop. Just stop, dude. Just stop. Go ahead, answer the question.
I do not talk more or less than any of you.
You're a bad person. Let's move on.
I'd say you're more or less always talking. But yeah.
Oh, I mean, you claim now that I mean, I think this is where you left off. I'm not sure. This is where you guys kind of left off. That the energy is made at surface level, but in some kind of grand scheme, the energy was like isotropic or anisotropic all over the place, and then
What kind of straw man is this?
it just kind of came. In on itself to become together, so now that it can release itself. But not enough to really, not enough in order to,
When did
not
I say
have
the word
gas
energy? We're
pressure.
not talking about energy. We're talking about gases. So when you're breathing, you're emitting gases. When you're farting, you're emitting gases. Every single animal on the planet is emitting gases through these methods. Every bacteria emits gases from what they digest.
Okay, is that all right? I mean, all right.
So, I'm
Is that the
sorry,
origin?
this has nothing to do with energy. And where do
Great.
they
Is
get
that the
the
origin?
energy? Well, they eat food. That's how they get energy.
Great.
This has nothing to do with energy. And where
Great.
do
Is
they get
that the
the
origin?
energy? Well, they eat food. That's how they get energy.
Great. Is that the origin? Did the Earth just pop into existence with the animals, plants, etc. onto
No, the
onto
Earth
it?
formed as a protoplanet, like all other planets are
Okay, so then,
protoplanets.
so it all, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so then it goes back to what I just said. So now you have the idea, just to recap, you have the idea that all the energy was just dispersed all over the universe. All the things, they coalesced into a ball that then turned into a monkey that turned into a human. And now all of that energy is being dispersed into the back into the universe, but not at a rate where we ought to lose the atmospheric pressure or gas pressure that we have on Earth.
You,
I just
you
want to get
really,
in just
you really love to lie. So basically, the universe is full of materials, and basically, as materials condense together, yes, you have accretion disks from gravity, the thing you don't believe in, which form stars. These stars then combine the hydrogen into helium, and then the helium into the next, and the next, and the next, all the way down to iron. Iron no longer can sustain itself, and therefore explodes. This is what releases all the materials, actual physical materials, outward, which then again, by the force of gravity, starts more accretion disks, forming planets and other stars. Because yes,
Yeah,
there's
breathe in,
enough
breathe out.
material
I gave you
to
the whole
do
thing.
this,
Breathe in, breathe out. Larry wanted to go.
and so on. And therefore, Earth has just generated from the same process as all other planets and stars, the same accretion disk and the same thermodynamic methodology. We can use simulations with the thermodynamics and physics applied to prove this as is.
so you can prove that there's planetary disks out there created by gravity, which wants to lump everything in a ball except for
Do you
protoplanets.
understand how simulations work?
Let him finish his thought
That's a
there.
simulation. That's a simulation. We're talking about in reality. Can you prove it? Because you just
Okay.
said a whole lot of things, and then you said we could prove it. So show me a protoplanetary disk in an experiment that you can do.
I don't think you understand how these simulations are working.
Well, explain it to me. If you understand it so well, explain it to me.
All right, that's what I'm trying to do. So you're basically conflating an arbitrary simulation versus a simulation using all known physics.
I'm not bringing up simulations. You are. I said prove it with an experiment. Go ahead. Explain it to me.
Okay, so you want me to make an experiment on the size of the universe? Am I the size of the universe, sir?
You said you could prove it. Prove it however you wish. Go ahead. Explain it to me.
I said that scientists can prove it through simulations. Basically, they apply the same physics and the state of the universe into the simulation, and what do we get? We get accretion disks, we get supernovae, we get all the things that happen in our universe in the simulation.
Listen,
hold on. I can simulate Superman jumping over a building with a single bound, but that has nothing to do with reality. Can you prove it, sir? You said I don't explain.
Except that you're Superman, if he can do that, your simulation is not using real-world physics. Okay?
Storm,
Understand this point. The simulation has
real-world
real-world physics. What part of that did you not understand?
Listen, Gay Storm. Hey, Gay Storm. Just start with the most basic thing. Like a lot of people will put to the to your theory, right? They'll say gravity strongest at the surface, right? I mean, we all agree gravity is strongest at the surface.
I love this drama.
So go from there.
I want to know about the iron exploding. Like you mentioned earlier, like you said a bunch of shit, and the part I got stuck on, I stopped kind of listening after you said the iron would explode. What causes that? You said iron can't contain itself.
I did not state that iron explodes. I said
50,
that
get in here, dude. Cut this Gay Storm out of the
when it
equation.
comes to the star fusing materials, nuclear fusion, if you don't understand what that is, then
So
why
it
are
can't
you
contain
asking
itself?
questions? So when a star is into nuclear fusion and reaches iron, it is unable to fuse iron into the next material. Therefore, it runs out of fuel and explodes. Not the iron, the star.
Autistic people with accents. That's like what the globe Earth is come to. It's just autistic people on Discord with accents. It's like PhD Tony, Gay Storm here. That's just the globe in a nutshell.
Okay.
It's just autistic people with accents.
Like we're gonna try to keep his cool.
When you have
and, like,
no argument and don't understand what someone said,
Hey,
use
Storm,
ad
you're too
hominem
much,
and
Storm.
call people
You're just too much.
autistic.
Hey, Storm,
Yes, that is very
You're too
valid
much,
and
Storm.
critical
One
and
sec.
intelligent of you.
Dude.
Hold on,
it was
guys.
like when I was growing up, man, like it used to be the religious people that were losing their head all the time. It seems like the scientists. Like I thought the scientists were supposed to be the cool kids in town, right? Like they're like, oh, we don't care what you think. Like you just want to explain it, go through it, but don't lose your head over it, man.
He said simulations are proof. I asked for proof. He said
Oh no, I know. There's plenty of material to laugh at, but
Yeah, and Larry, do
don't
you
lose
guys
your
think
cool, bro.
you guys think that there's going to be progress made with Gay Storm here, or do you think it's just going to be yelling, screaming, and autistic responses? I'm pretty sure. It's just going to be autistic responses.
I think you guys have given him more chances than I have, but I'll give him one more chance. Can you explain? That's what you said. So how can you prove it without, a computer simulation? Because we can simulate all kinds of stupid shit that doesn't represent reality. So how do you prove it?
Yeah, I agree with no tanks. Get him, Dad.
Time out.
Guess he's on mute.
I mean, it's just like, dude, it's just like 40 minutes of like, can you speak like a human being, just to get to fake human being interaction. It's just, I don't know, what can you do?
Well, I think he's been going to college and he's got a lot of debt. So all that emotional bag is just it's hurting the poor guy. I think he's been going to college. What do you guys think?
College, good. Unless you would hear to Charlie
37?
Kirk's.
Is college in at 37? That'd be a professional student.
Well, I just got here, so I didn't catch his age, but yeah, he said a lot of things there.
Said he was 37.
I'll tell you what, the education system, does it leaves you pretty strapped. So,
well, he's really confident. We'll give him that. I mean, we'll give him the Dunning-Kruger Award. He's very confident. So you can
to a human, And now all of that energy is being dispersed back into the universe, but not at a rate where we ought to lose the atmospheric pressure or gas pressure that we have on Earth.
You're enough to lie. So basically, the universe is full of materials, and basically, as materials condense together, yes, you have accretion disks from gravity, the thing you don't believe in, which form stars. These stars then combine the hydrogen into a helium, and then the helium into the next, and the next, and the next, all the way down to iron. Iron no longer can sustain itself, and therefore explodes. This is what releases all the materials, actual physical materials, outward, which then again, by the force of gravity, starts more accretion disks, forming planets and other stars. Because yes,
breathe in, breathe out. I gave you the whole thing. Breathe in, breathe out. Larry wanted to go.
So on. And therefore, Earth has just generated from the same process as all other planets and stars, the same accretion disk and the same thermodynamic methodology. We can use simulations with the thermodynamics and physics applied to prove this as is. We can use simulations with the thermodynamics and physics applied to prove this.
And then you're going to get these gases. If they're ionized, you get plasma. So anyway, so you have like plasma and magnetic fields, right? And then what do you know? You look up plasma and magnetic fields and galaxies, and you find out that going all the way back to the 50s, they were replicating galaxies with magnetic fields and plasma in a lab. And that even to now, like they're able to replicate like super precise like phenomena observed in the sky using different variations of magnetic fields and plasmas.
And stars, the same accretion disk and the same thermodynamic methodology. We can use simulations with the thermodynamics and physics applied to prove this as is.
You know what I mean? Like you put the weights on the tire, on the rim?
No actual glober believes this. Only delusional people that think these spiritual things about the pyramids do.
Oh, so no Glober thinks outside the box. Thanks. I appreciate you saying that.
Hang on. I didn't hear a word he said. I don't know how you did. He just sounded like he muffled his microphone. I couldn't hear a word he just said.
He said no true Scotsman fallacy, bruh. He said no Glober believes this.
The point being that believing that the Earth is a sphere has nothing to do with believing magical fantasies about the pyramids.
Magical fantasies.
What's your favorite globe proof?
Well, you're gonna laugh about this. The fact that it's
$100 says it has to do with looking at the lights in the sky.
Nope, he's gonna say turn on the TV.
Gravity.
No, let's let him answer.
Logic.
Logic. Okay, go ahead and make your logical syllogism.
Not this shit again.
No need to.
So it is actually kind of ironic
logic
because I started
is his
this
answer,
conversation,
but he can't give us any logic. That's hilarious.
I actually started this like 4 or 5 hours ago with Geo, right? And Geo said, "Why can't people let go of the globe?" And my answer was because it is their ultimate, absolute, non-contingent reason for and how for how to explain all things. Like all things depend upon the globe. Like so, like consciousness is epiphenomenal from globe. How did consciousness come about? Well, gravity coalesced all the nominalistic atoms into one point so that they could then express themselves in some kind of hierarchy to then form the epiphenomenal occurrence of consciousness. All goodness and all gratitude given to globe. Yeah, I mean it's their grounding.
So Big Bang created the heavens and the earth, right?
Nothing makes sense without globe.
And gravity saw to it that it was good.
I have one question for you. Have you ever been to an observatory?
Told you. Give me my $100.
Look at the sky.
He
said, "Look at the sky."
Ding, ding, ding. No, that has nothing to do with look in the sky. An observatory.
What's
mean
in the sky?
Every globe proof comes from looking at the lights in the sky
or the TV.
Actually, I wasn't going to look at lights in the sky. I was just going to determine something about the moon.
So you prove the shape of the Earth by looking up at the moon. Do you check the ceiling fan to see if your shoes are tied?
Your so his favorite, your favorite globe proof is that
how about
if
this? No
if the
matter
globe
what I
was not
want to
true,
try
if
and
the
say or
globe did not
defend, you're
exist,
not
if the
even
globe
going
was
to
like
listen
just a
to me
fantasy,
1
if the globe
second.
didn't
Therefore, there's no
didn't
point into
have some
explaining
kind of
anything to
like
you. You don't want me
ontology
to
in
listen to
reality,
it.
I was talking like at least 20 seconds. Like, nah, fuck it. Like maybe
Yeah,
7
you were
seconds before you.
interrupting me.
Like 7 seconds before
Bro.
you, easily 7 seconds
Well,
before you. It
at least 3 or 4 seconds.
was like 7.
At
Dude.
least 3
I
or
was
4.
going.
No,
3 or
no
4.
lag can explain this. Unless he's on the moon.
Unexplainable.
Maybe he's a trans astronaut. Are you on the moon right now? Do you identify as an astronaut?
Here's another question for you. Why are you asking questions if you just don't even want the answer to it?
I was going, man, but you interrupted me. So your favorite globe proof is that without the globe, logic could not exist. So logic is dependent
there's
upon
no favorite
I'm still
globe.
going, dude. Like, now that had to be 7 seconds. It had to be. So
Yeah, you
logic
start
is,
with a
dude, it
lie. You
has to
start with
be.
a lie, and then
It
you
has to be.
That was about
you
2
whine
seconds that
about
time.
being interrupting, but you start with a blatant
Yeah, but if you're gonna keep
lie.
doing it, man, then
I'm gonna
people
get
are
my
just gonna
fucking
stop
kitchen
talking
timer
to you
out.
every time you're
lie,
going still.
I'm gonna cut you
Storm,
off because
Storm,
everything
you're gonna
you're
create
saying
chaos,
after
dude.
the
If you
lie
keep doing
is
this,
based on
people
your
are gonna get
lie.
aggressive towards you.
So it's a waste
And we're
of
just gonna
stick.
talk every time you talk, and we're gonna go back and forth like this. Like you don't get to come in and steamroll everybody, dude.
Well,
I asked you for your favorite proof of globe, and you said you're gonna laugh at this, but it's logic. So logic is dependent upon globe. Is that not the truth? Is that not the case?
No, that is not the case. You're just gish galloping and not understanding a word I'm saying, not even giving the consideration of trying to understand or level with me. So you can make up what you want about what you interpret about what I say. It's not accurate.
What was just give me the accuracy. Your favorite proof about globe? I'm not going to laugh at it.
There
Is
are
what?
not just one single logical thing that tells me that the Earth is a globe. There's a body of facts.
No problem. I asked you, what's your favorite thing?
I mean, 10,000 plus different things, not a single thing. Okay,
Awesome.
to prove something to me, it doesn't take
So
one.
10,000 things doesn't contain one single thing. Can you just give us one?
I was not done. It doesn't take one.
Yeah, but you're lying. You contradicted yourself.
It takes
10,000 things would include a single thing, right? If you have 10,000 eggs, that would include one egg, right?
No. To determine
really?
if
Go ahead and explain that.
you need multiple facts.
So, what's your favorite globe proof? It can't be logic. You said that would be like a straw man. What's your favorite globe proof?
My favorite globe proof is the body of facts that contains 10,000 pieces of evidence that the Earth is a globe. That's my favorite proof.
My favorite flat Earth proof is like infinity black magic, no takebacks. So I win. Mine is like the accumulation of millions of billions of quadrillions of things. So I win.
So 10,000 proven things combined together that prove something is more valid.
Yeah, but mine is times 2.
Up whatever you're saying because you can't understand.
Whatever you say times 2 is mine. So what's your? Just be serious, dude. Stop with your fucking dumb shit. What's your favorite globe proof there, kiddo?
How about the lava argument?
I don't know. The lava argument? What's that?
Yeah, another argument that you're just gonna not listen to, dismiss.
No, you got to present it, man. Just present it,
please. Try and think about it with critical thinking, like a normal.
Yeah, just present it. Present it.
Okay. First of all, can we determine that there is lava on Earth and inside Earth?
Can you just
lava. All right. I mean, I have my theory of lava, but you have your theory. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Is there lava?
Don't forget.
Is there lava within Earth?
Well,
lava comes out of Earth.
But lava
is Earth.
What comes out.
Okay.
Lava is Earth. It's dirt. It's heated up dirt that is under pressure. I mean, dude, are you asking me or not asking me?
I'm asking. What is lava?
Yeah. So I mean, lava is Earth, right? It's made of Earth. It comes out of Earth after a sufficient amount of pressure is placed on Earth. Okay. So now you have.
That doesn't explain exactly what lava is.
I just explained what it is.
Actually, a proper definition would be molten rock that has melted to heat.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Very far. You haven't gotten very far in your explanation. Like, you're like, I got this lava thing.
I can't
and
get
then
far
you
in
get
my
stuck on the
explanation
first word.
because you guys are just cutting off and not answering the questions.
No, I just asked you to present it. Like I'm not asking
I'm
you to
presenting
ask
it. I
us
am
questions
presenting it.
about
You're not
your
following it. How can I present an argument if you're not going to let me cook the ingredients?
right. So I'm gonna say if
Hey,
you have something to present,
can
you
you
can present
give
it
me
without
a
questions.
meal right now, but
Shut
without
the
preparing
fuck
the
up, kid.
ingredients and
At
cooking
some
it?
point, shut up. Like when I go to talk, it's not like, hey, you start talking,
Can
ignore
you serve
everything
me
I
fish
say, and
without
then play
fish?
pretend like we're having a
Can you
back and
serve
forth.
me fish without fish?
Can you
No?
shut the fuck
Let
up
me
and
cook
listen
the
to somebody
ingredients.
else?
So it's a big beaver moon apparently this evening. So everyone, be aware your lunacy is kicking in.
Fuck that! I'll kill you right now. I'll kill you.
I'll kill you.
Have you ever heard
I just
beaver moon
want to.
before? Someone's calling
No,
it
that's
the
the
beaver
first
moon
time.
lately. I don't know.
That's
It's
the
a new
first
one.
time I ever heard it.
Don't present it.
Cool.
Gonna just jump off to something else. Okay.
No, we're not going somewhere else.
Can
Kid.
somebody?
You need to cool
Yeah,
off,
because
Larry.
you
What's up?
understand that lava is molten rock, and by being molten rock, it's incompatible with a flat
Okay,
Earth.
so how is it possible that that's impossible on a flat Earth?
Well, I was trying to get to that, but we still have to establish a few facts here. So, first of all, we were at, is lava molten rock?
Good, I gave you that. I said it's Earth. I said lava is Earth.
I want
I gave it
molten
to you.
rock specifically. Is it molten, melted rock?
Yeah. Earth is rock, is dirt. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
You're
good,
no problem.
good.
What's the confusion?
So, is lava hot enough to melt rock?
Lava is rock under
Yes.
pressure.
Is it hot enough to melt non-molten rock?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes,
can. Yeah.
it is
Stupid
correct.
gotcha thing.
Lava melts the rock around it as well. Just
Okay.
saying. Okay. First of all, on a flat Earth, for the lava to have to reach this heat in the first place, where is this heat coming from?
It's coming from the pressure
Well,
that is put on the
compost.
Earth.
Whoa.
A compost pile
Pressure
creates
can do
heat.
things, but it's not generating heat. Pressure can do things, but it won't generate heat.
Really? Pressure? How do diesel engines work? How do diesel engines work?
Friction generates heat.
I don't know. I'm not a mechanic.
Diesel engines don't have spark plugs.
Spark plugs. It's the pressure that ignites them. They blow, but not spark.
Yep.
They don't need spark
Yeah, if you don't have pressure, the engine doesn't run. Hey,
A piston can create a spark when it contacts something. That's not the same as just having raw pressure on top of it. Like basically, if you have a bed sitting on top of a bed, you won't create some heat with that. If you put a rock on top of a rock,
you're bloviating. Get to the point.
It's not going to melt. It's just going to be pressurized. It's going to crush, but it's not going to melt.
I mean, if you look how bullets work.
So for heat, you actually need an active core.
Well, hold on a second. Larry is actually correct because heat does cause pressure can be caused by heat. That's proven with the diesel engine.
And a compost pile will also generate heat. If the Earth can be described as anything, as a giant composting pile.
Okay. Suppose
it's not complimentary, but it's not inaccurate.
Pressure causes a little heat. Can it cause enough heat to melt rock?
Yes, it can. Obviously.
No. Okay. Explain how.
We have lava. You can see it. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Next.
but lava has been proven to be molten rock due to higher extensive heat than what pressure can generate.
Can you get to the point? How does this prove the Earth is a sphere?
Simply put, if there's lava on a flat Earth, and flat Earth is made basically of rock and all that stuff, and there's enough heat for lava to be hot enough to be lava, then all the rock on the flat Earth would melt.
Okay,
there is no way to contain the lava on a flat Earth because it would melt its own container, which is the rock around it.
I got a clarifying question. Are you saying that if the Earth is a globe, it would contain lava? The Earth contains lava, therefore it can't be a flat Earth, it must be a globe. Is that your argument?
That's a very...
Don't forget, if the Earth was flat, all the lava
Hold on, let him answer. Don't let him run. Is that your argument, sir?
That and pressure can't create
That
heat.
is a straw man simplification. And
Okay,
you're
can
doing
you
that
please?
intentionally, and you're trying to ridicule whatever actual argument there is because you can't assess an argument.
Okay, so
you cannot
explain it
address
to me.
steel man argument. You can only address straw mans. So
Bro, I
continue grasping at your
concede.
straws. Continue
Bro,
grasping
I
at your
concede.
straws.
Bro, I concede that that's not your argument. Can you please clarify for me? Make your argument again so that I may understand.
So basically, on a globe, a planet, a globe, you have a core that can spin and generate heat. And that is not the only source of heat. That is also not enough heat. You can combine that with the pressure and you still don't have enough heat. So you need tectonic geoactivity as well. And that creates enough heat to cause lava. And the lava would tend to go around the core because heat generates in a spherical radius. If you have a heat source, the source of heat will go in a spherical radius. Gradiently, the farther away from the source, the less heat you are affected by. Therefore, the lava is localized where the heat source is. And the higher up you go, when you reach the mantle, it is no longer hot enough for rock to be molten. Therefore, it remains solid.
Okay, so make the connection, therefore the Earth's a globe.
Yeah, therefore the Earth...
He didn't even make a coherent argument. This guy is trolling the shit out of you guys.
How's that
okay, so...
How about
well,
you
he didn't...
How about you address how you can contain lava on your flat Earth and generate a sufficient heat to sustain the lava without melting everything down?
Bro, you haven't made an argument yet, but go ahead.
So basically, on a globe, a planet, a globe, you have a core that can spin and generate heat. And that is not the only source of heat. That is also not enough heat. You can combine that with the pressure and you still don't have enough heat. So you need tectonic geoactivity as well. And that creates enough heat to cause lava. And the lava would tend to go around the core because heat generates in a spherical radius. If you have a heat source, the source of heat will go in a spherical radius. Gradiently, the farther away from the source, the less heat you are affected by. Therefore, the lava is localized where the heat source is. And the higher up you go, when you reach the mantle, it is no longer hot enough for rock to be molten. Therefore, it remains solid. Address how you can contain lava on your flat Earth and generate a sufficient heat to sustain the lava without melting everything down. How about you address how you can contain lava on your flat Earth and generate a sufficient heat to sustain the lava without melting everything down?
Bro, you haven't made an argument yet, but go ahead.
So basically, a globe Earth can contain heat and lava at its center without compromising its surface. A flat Earth cannot.
Dude, my hands are flat, right? If I hold my my flat hands together, and I move them left and right and forward and backward, can they create heat? Does that debunk that my hands are spheres or not?
How much heat are you generating with that?
Enough.
Are you
That's
generating enough heat to melt rock? We're talking about heat that melts rock. So you're generating enough heat to melt rock in your hands. You wouldn't even have hands.
Yeah, rock,
Larry, I
paper,
think the
scissors, get some flat
chalkboard.
sticks together. I get some flat sticks. I rub.
So you're generating enough heat to melt rock in your hands. You wouldn't even have hands.
Yeah, rock,
Larry,
paper,
I think
scissors. I
the
just get some flat
chalkboard.
sticks together. I get some flat sticks. I rub them together, and they create fire. Are you denying my flat sticks create fire?
Fire is not as hot as lava, just for your info. Lava goes into the thousands of degrees Celsius.
Okay, so when does it stop being sufficient? These flat surfaces that create heat, when is it
What
stop?
do you mean by flat
What's stopping
surface?
it?
I don't see any flat surfaces.
I got two paint sticks. Like I took two sticks from the Home Depot and they're flat, and I rub them together until they make fire. I take my hands and I rub them together, and there's friction,
Okay.
and it
And
creates heat.
what happens to the two sticks? Do they burn?
The heat disperses into the air because air moves in all directions until
and
it hits the walls of a container, right? But if there are contained within a system, like embedded within rock, what is the limitation of heat that's embedded within rock, of the friction of the flat surfaces rubbing together? What's the limitation
And
for you to say that
burns.
it is impossible for flatness to create heat?
No, that's not what I said. I said it is impossible for a flat Earth that cannot generate sufficient heat to create lava, to contain
Yeah, what
lava.
is your evidence that flatness cannot create heat?
When did I say that flatness cannot create heat? I said
When you say within a system, like embedded within rock, what is the limitation of heat that's embedded within rock, of the friction of the flat surfaces rubbing together? What's the limitation for you to say that it is impossible for flatness to create heat?
No, that's not what I said. I said it is impossible for a flat Earth that cannot generate sufficient heat to create lava, to contain
Yeah, what
lava.
is your evidence that flatness cannot create heat?
When did I say that flatness cannot create heat? I said
When you said that that the flat Earth flatness.
Okay, when we're talking about the flat Earth, we're not talking about
bring
the
about heat.
property of being flat making things impossible. We're talking about the fact that it's not a sphere. Therefore, the underground there that should be infinite, since space doesn't exist, you have infinite underground. Therefore, infinite rock beneath your feet, and therefore, this infinite rock somehow is not melting to the temperatures of lava, causing an
Stormette, hang on. Stormette, I have an important question for you. Please give me a straight answer. How thick do you think the flat Earth is?
It would, no matter what its thickness is, it would violate all laws of physics.
How do you know that?
Because we know that. I like saying that.
That's not an answer.
It is an answer.
There was molten rock, like so.
That is
like,
an insufficient answer to my question.
Oh,
hang on, no tanks. He wants to say shit's impossible on flat Earth, but has no idea what flat Earth even is.
Okay, so thermodynamics.
You have no idea how thick the Earth is. You've drilled 7 miles into the Earth. That's it. That's all you know. You can shoot your P waves and S waves all you want, but that's all speculation.
Oh,
how thick is flat Earth?
Are you saying that earthquakes never
How
happen
thick?
And you can't measure the waves?
How thick is flat Earth?
Thing, and seismographs are actually valid, and we can detect the waves that pass both through and not through liquid, and therefore we know exactly where the liquids are in Earth.
You're not answering my question, guy. How thick is flat Earth?
I don't know.
How deep
I'm not a flat earther,
can you go in the flat Earth?
But
so how do you know it cannot contain lava?
But every time I've asked,
how do you know that the flat Earth cannot contain lava?
A flat earther, how thick is the flat Earth? They either have no answer, or it has to be infinite because there's no space to have under it.
Or how about you just can't know?
Let me ask you the question.
Or how about we know how absurd an infinite underground is?
Let me ask you the question.
Infinite is absurd.
And lava.
But you have no idea how thick it is in order to make the claim that it cannot contain lava.
Okay.
Because that was your claim, guy.
Fine. Let's speculate. Suppose it is 1 kilometer thick. the lava would melt 1 kilometer of rock and there would be just lava and no earth. Now let's add this to 10 kilometers thick. If the flat earth were 10 kilometers thick, the whole 10 kilometers would also melt. Now, if you take it to 100 kilometers, it would all melt. 1,000 kilometers, it would all melt. How do we know this? We know that rock melts to lava.
Rock melts to lava. Or
Let me ask you the question that. Let me ask you the question that I asked.
I'll back out. I'm sorry. He's got no answers. Thank you.
Obviously, yeah. Let me ask you the question that I ask all the globe guys, right? Because we all know the Earth is a globe, and a globe is curvature, right? Which is a drop from a horizontal tangent. So let me just ask you, Stormette, what tool have you used to establish points of equal elevation so that you can know that there's a drop from the horizontal tangent? What tool have you used?
Do
Or
I
can be used?
use tools personally for something that have been done by 50,000 people in the past? No.
What tool could we use to establish points of equal elevation so that we know that there's a drop from the horizontal tangent established by the points of equal elevation?
I don't know. Speculate it all you want. I don't know. Whatever.
All right. So what? All right. Listen. If the globe is proven, right? The globe is proven that there is a drop from the horizontal. What tool do we use to establish horizontal?
Do we need a tool
It's just
to
that simple.
establish that the Earth is a globe? No, we don't.
Okay. So a tool would a tool be would that be a device to prove
You are
that there's a drop?
proposing that a human handles a tool that is bigger than a mountain.
Dude, I'm supposing that we have proof of globe. The proof of globe is that there is curvature, which is a change in elevation.
The
So
proof
what tool
of
do we
globe is
use?
a body of
Right,
fact.
that's my premise. So what tool do we use to establish points of equal elevation so that we know that there is a change in elevation, i.e. curvature? That's all.
Well, I mean, you don't understand this word, but we would use actual level and mean sea level, which are two terms that you butcher and don't understand at all.
Okay, is that your answer? That sea level is a tool for establishing
I said
horizontal so that
mean
we
sea
know.
level. There's a difference
so
between sea level and mean sea level.
So is the angry sea level? The sea is angry today, boys. Okay, like an old man at the deli. All right, is the mean sea level a tool for establishing horizontal, so that we know that there's a drop from the horizontal, i.e. a change in elevation?
But hang on, no tanks. Mean sea level is measured on a vertical datum, so I'm confused.
He's getting there. Yeah, you just got to do it. You just got to just tell us.
You're confused about that. How do we get horizontal? It's from a vertical line. We first figure out vertical, and then we use perpendicular to vertical to find horizontal.
And there you go.
No problem. No problem.
You just
no problem. So what? Yeah. So what tool have you used to establish points of equal elevation to know that there is a change in elevation
am I supposed to
of
be
level?
the scientist that did every single experiment in the world?
Okay, so you got.
Dude,
it's just a proof. It's just a proof. It's just what's necessary. It's the necessary precondition.
Well, these are
for
all
changes in elevation, i.e. curvature.
Semantics. What's important here is to understand that what proves that the Earth is a globe.
But
is
why
not
are you disengaging?
one thing.
You're disengaging, right? So you don't have to address what he's saying, and then you're going on a tangent.
Why are you interrupting? There you go.
I'm interrupting because I'm like just reeling you back in, right? You're trying to disengage from the conversation, and then you want to narrate some nonsense, right?
You have to understand that what proves the globe is not one single statement, but a body
But if you're going to disengage from the discussion,
why are
nobody wants to listen to you narrate.
Well, then why are you asking me the question if you don't want to listen to me answer the question that you're asking me to answer? What's the point of asking a question if you're just going to refuse to listen to the answer itself?
Like, that's just not how it went. I don't even.
That is exactly how it's went. That is exactly what you are doing. I am answering someone's question, and you are interrupting and then talking shit over it.
No, you disengage from his question.
I did not. I actually tried to clarify something about his question, whereas because his question is based on a premise that is a lie.
What, perpendicular?
So I'm trying to establish that this premise is wrong. So if you want to be coherent in your questioning, you first have to establish that what proves the globe is not one single statement, but a body of facts. If you understand what that means, it means several piles of evidence.
Right. And this has nothing to do with what he said. Okay, thanks.
Premise? Really?
I picked up on that as well.
Answering someone's question and you are interrupting and then talking shit over it.
No, you disengaged from his question.
I did not. I actually tried to clarify something about his question, whereas because his question is based on a premise that is a lie.
What, perpendicular?
So I'm trying to establish that this premise is wrong.
Premise? Really?
I picked up on that as well.
That's what happens when all you do is read other people's arguments and you don't have your own.
AI reads it premise.
I make my own arguments.
Reading AI?
There's no AI involved.
It's a premise.
No, I'm just being funny. Man. It's okay.
What? I'm in a French country, so yes, I'm gonna have a French accent sometimes. So fucking what?
Okay, but I'm just trying to help.
I swear I'm not getting it from AI, even though the next to my name is AI. I have a little link that says AI next to my name. I swear I'm not AI. No problem. Premise is completely normal to say. Premise.
Sorry.
How certain are you that he's not AI?
Parlez-vous français? J'aimerais bien ça t'entendre articuler en français comme du monde, voir si t'es capable.
Okay, that's disgusting. That is disgusting talk. Nobody wants to hear that gross stuff.
Jay Quellen? Is there a Jay Quellen in the room?
So, is pre-mice before pre-mouse?
Ron. Rigger.
Ron.
Sorry, Rigger.
Aaron.
I love the normal stuff.
Says some stupid ass name.
Oh, what is the topic? My gosh.
It was lava.
What came before mice?
It was lava, but I don't know why.
Lava proves the globe.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't know.
The necessary precondition for lava is globe.
Pronounced premise.
Gentlemen.
How about you pronounce the word framboise in French?
Did you know that you were muted?
Framboise. Okay, cool.
Did you? Oh my god! Oh my god! Say that.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's like a cack.
I don't know.
The necessary precondition for lava is globe.
Pronounced premise.
Gentlemen.
How about you pronounce the word framboise in French?
Did you know that you were muted?
Framboise. Okay, cool.
Did you? Oh my god! Oh my god! Say that.
That's brutal.
Okay, cool.
Did you? Oh my god!
Okay, cool.
Did you? Oh my god! Oh my god! Say that.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's like a cackle.
Kind of scary. That's kind of scary.
Hey, Roofie, you can answer it. Get in there.
Eh?
Roohif, what is the tool, right? That we use to establish points of equal elevation, so that we can know that the Earth is curved, which is a change in elevation. What's the tool we use?
That's not a change in elevation.
Curve is curve.
A change in elevation is not a change in elevation. What was that? No.
Curve is not a change in elevation.
What's the tool that we use to establish points of equal elevation, so that we can know that there is a change in elevation? Well, that was the question.
What?
What's the tool?
They're hills.
You're talking about a water level, right? That establishes points of equal elevation.
Is that it? That's the only tool?
Theodolite?
Well, you can use the theodolite to do that.
Okay, so now that's the tool. So we use the water level to establish points of equal elevation, to know that the Earth is curved, which is a change in elevation, a drop from the water level. Is that what you said?
Curve is not a change of elevation.
I'm not sure what happened. There's no change. All right, Roofie. There's no change in elevation.
Can I jump in on that? Because they said that
which would be
which is a
curvature,
state
which would be
that's
like drop
which,
or rise.
which was a state that's flat as a pancake.
Kansas.
I don't know.
Kansas. Okay, but it's flat as a pancake doesn't mean flat, literally flat. It just means is the smallest amount of change in elevation.
It's not a good analogy. It's not a good analogy because pancakes aren't flat; they're kind of dome shaped.
No, that's pancakes are bumpy.
Hold on.
Kansas
Please review the documentation, because they said when they measured it the first time, it was so flat that they measured a perfect flatness. They had to recalibrate their machine and got like 0.9997, I think is what it was. And they said, to sum it up, that means that it was damn flat. Do you know why they said damn flat? Because it would be kind of shady back in the mid-90s to say it was flat as fuck.
People didn't drop the F-bomb in those days as
Flat
much.
as fuck, boy.
It still doesn't mean that it's not
You guys know that
no
gif,
curve.
that meme where it's like I'm fast as fuck, boy.
A Roohif can back me up. That doesn't mean it's like a
Roohif would have
curve.
been so good looking with hair.
Still am, bro.
Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, the shortest distance between, if you were to set up a vertical, the shortest distance between them will be established by the water level. It's proven. But that, yeah. Anyway, to answer Jeremy's question, that was the point.
At a water level finds equal elevation points.
Yep.
And magma, therefore globe.
And what? Magma?
Oh, that's a given, dude. If you got lava can only even work if it's a globe.
That was his argument. I'm pretty sure, because we asked him for one proof. And he said, no, you're straw manning me. And then he said magma, lava.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it like liquid hot magma.
I
Like
said it
Roohif.
already. You suck, Jeremy. I fucking
Roohif
said
looks
that.
like Dr. Evil. Roohif, say it with your pinky out.
Oh shit. Yep.
You almost look like Dr. Evil, Roohif. Do you have a hairless? Do you own a hairless cat, by any chance?
No. I have one cat, not hairless.
You need to get yourself a hairless cat, or a secret underground layer somewhere or something.
Oh,
He's got a secret underground layer, at least.
Answer the question, Roohif. Are you having fun with the sharks with the laser beams? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
All right.
More fun than word games, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Wait, listen, what do you mean by bro? Define bro.
Champ.
I mean, Roohif, have you? Oh, he said champ. He said champ. Yeah. He lost. Have you ever heard Zanuck describe level? He'll say it's perpendicular from plumb, perpendicular from vertical at a point.
Yes.
You agree with that?
Yes.
But horizontal is perpendicular from plumb at a point. Do you agree with that?
That's right.
Perpendicular
is
to
horizontal,
that plumb line.
Is horizontal perpendicular from plumb at a point?
Yeah, to the plumb line.
And
yes.
level is also perpendicular from plumb at a point, right?
Level is the surface of equal elevation.
So I thought you said it was perpendicular from plumb at a point. You didn't agree to that 3 seconds ago?
Right. Jeremy, I get in here, I start playing my game, and then you guys start playing fucking word games. What are we doing?
I'm just asking how you would this ain't word games. I'm asking how you describe level, and
Yeah.
You agreed with the first thing I said, and then you had to disagree with it. I don't know, because Zanuck swears that level is perpendicular from plumb at a point. He swears by that definition of level.
Cool.
Come on, Roohif, don't run, bro. Quit using your game as like a get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
Put the
I'm not
pinky
interested in
in the
playing word
mouth.
game.
Put the pinky in your mouth.
Do you agree with Zanuck or do you disagree with Zanuck?
I don't care.
You don't care about
Oh,
Zanuck?
so
How dare
doesn't
you? He's an American gladiator. You better watch your mouth.
Yeah, I heard that.
You better
In fact,
bow down
I've
and
never
kiss the
seen any
Chucks.
proof.
You better bow down and kiss the Chucks like you're Leroy.
I've never seen any proof of that. I asked Zanuck, show me like you were on the American Gladiator, and I think he was afraid I was going to dox him or something. He wouldn't show me.
He won't show me either. I was kind of like pumped up.
It's on his YouTube channel. We've all seen it.
Yeah,
it's
pretty sure.
Oh, someone link me his YouTube. What's the name of his channel?
It's a
Zanuck?
really wild name. It's called Zanuck.
Ah, you got me.
Get out of town.
Yeah,
It's not a bad question, Roohif. Who's a better Glober, you or Zanuck? Who's the best
me?
of the best?
I'm the best.
I'd rather talk to Roohif than Zanuck, honestly, at this point. I'm fucking Zanuck's dead to me.
No, Zanuck's got my vote. I would put as annoying as he is, at least he's not like
You'd rather talk to Zanuck
than Roofy? Yeah, Roofy has like this superiority, like condescending, just like I'm better than you tone about his voice.
Oh, I never got that off Zanuck. Wow. Really?
It's a good call.
Yeah, but
Very good
Zanuck,
call.
like you know that when Zanuck's playing, right? He'll laugh with you when you call him on his bullshit. Like he actually has a little tiny bit of humility. Roofy has none.
Does
Do you have any
Zanuck have
humility,
those? Does Zanuck have like those foam things, like that on a stick? Like there's two foam like things on the end of a stick that he beat you up with?
Oh, to
Is that
beat
what
people
the
off with, yeah.
Yeah, while he's walking on like a beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roohif can't do that.
No. Although you can watch me play cricket if you want. If you want to do that.
That's a stupid game. How stupid is that game? I give it to you. It's better than curling with Canadians, but still, though, that's.
Jeremy, you're dead to me.
That's like fake baseball. It's like fake baseball, dude.
Now, come on, be easy on Jeremy. He's only got one eye. Do you think he's going to love that fucking game? Come on.
Baseball is played in the UK. It's called
dope.
rounders. Children play it.
There we go.
Children and girls.
I'll tell you what I can get behind is that weird pool table game English people play.
Jeremy?
YouTube's still on.
In the UK, it's called rounders. Children play it.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Someone reflected. Someone's playing the live stream back.
Your mom's about to tell
Somebody,
you off. I heard your mom come in. She's about to tell you
on
off.
my again. I'm in a car with my. No, I'm not. I'm not even in a house right now, bro. That was somebody else talking. That was.
Yeah, somebody joined the live stream with the live stream playing.
It was Coco. And she said Jeremy, and then she left. And she played.
Somebody said my name twice, though.
Yeah, it was her.
And she's like, Jeremy, you listen here. If you keep up with that tone,
That wasn't even coming
that
through my
attitude,
end.
you're going to bed with no dinner. Now don't let me hear this. Anyways, I can't find Zanuck's name. I tried Zanuck 2.0. I can't find his channel.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of Zanuck channels. You got to find his. We've all seen
the
it.
avatar. I'm starting to lose interest. Help me.
Well, you just got to go to search by channel on YouTube, Zanuck.
Yeah, I did. Zanuck channel. I'm getting so many of them.
Yeah, it's the one that has a bunch of race cars because he does cars too.
If you look for more than 5 minutes, you're considered a stalker, Rigger. Beware.
Too late for that.
Yeah, you're officially stalking Zanuck at this point.
It's the second one that came up.
Because nobody asked.
Why?
500 million people are 500 million people are fans of baseball, and it's primarily America and Japan. But cricket has 2.5 billion audiences, and it's Asia, Australia, everywhere, basically.
Is it true that cricket's gay? Or it makes you gay?
No, that's baseball, all the spitting and all the rubbing.
By the way, it's
all the ass slapping.
It's not really. By the way, it's not really doxing Zanuck. I mean, it's on his own channel, and he knows that everyone's kind of seen it, but he's just not like forthright about it. Like he doesn't say like, "Hey, everyone, watch it. Here's my." It's got his name and stuff on it, so because it's, you know, when you're on those shows, it tells you what your name is. But he has it on his own channel, so it's not like he's like hiding it. But if you ask him in
I
here,
definitely watch my video.
No, your videos suck, dude. Sorry. You have like you think like a pop fly is like something worthy of watching. It's like, wow, you're involved in a play in cricket. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Those 2 billion fans of cricket have got severe hygiene issues in most, for the most part. So I don't know, dude. Yeah.
What's with the racism?
If you made like a nice,
have you been there? Have you been there?
No.
It's it's a hygiene. It's a, I don't know. COVID should have wiped them all out for some reason, but you know, germ theory not quite up to the grasp, is it?
Yeah, Roofy, if you pull off like a nice one-handed catch dive or something, see, that's worthy, you know, of displaying actual
I
talent.
can show you that. I'll show you a nice one-handed catch dive. 1 sec.
They have stronger antibodies because they deal with much more diseases every day in places like.
Well, it was good to see you, Roohif. I'm gonna go to bed, even though it's like 3 o'clock where you are. I'm gonna go to bed.
So
Good to see
the
you.
medical industry weakens your immune system. I'm glad we've arrived at a common ground, Red.
Can Roohif say okay? Can somebody
We
give
have other common-
Roohif some space? Can you guys give Roohif some space to say great to see you? No thanks. I
Great
can't.
to see. Hang on. You can't go without seeing my catch. Hang on. Rigger wanted a catch. There's a time-stamped link to a catch of mine.
I was just
Pretty good
giving you
catch.
some,
Like I had to go one way.
I was giving you some advice.
How's
like,
that?
of what something worth
Yeah.
watching.
We'll put it on the refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't really care about you in
So,
general.
so he's got time to give you like a timestamp video, but he doesn't have time to be bothered to answer a couple questions.
He's too busy playing his game. Remember?
You can't even say goodbye to No Tanks. No Tanks,
See you,
I
No
appreciate
Tanks.
you.
Love you.
You've been a blast
Love you,
today.
Pumpkin.
Thank you.
You
I'm
used to be
watching
cool, no thanks.
I'm
I
watching
bet
it.
you Globers fucking love me, bro. Bet you guys fucking love this shit out of me.
He's still playing in whites. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. That is good
I don't know.
catch.
We always talk
Left-hander as
about
well.
our
Are you a
favorite
lefty?
Globers and shit.
I am, yeah.
We always talk about our favorite Globers and shit. Who's your favorite flat earthers, Roohif? Your top 3.
Jeran.
So I think you missed the point where it said flat earther.
He's off the island, dude. He's
He
off
loves
the
traders.
Yeah, not even. He's on your.
Yeah, Jeran
Glober.
is set tripping.
You just named one. First of all, I asked for 3 flat earthers. You named 1 Glober, twice, for some reason.
Yeah, are you really ready? It doesn't seem like we don't know what's going to happen with that documentary, whether it actually will get big coverage or not. But Roohif, can you really say, like, let's say it did go big, even though I don't think it will, but let's say it did go big time, and now Jeran is some Globe proponent. Are you really ready to root him on as your guy to be out there? You guys all called him a liar and horrible for years, and now all of a sudden he's your best friend. We get it. There's a bias involved, but I'm saying, are you really ready for him to represent the Globe team in this in the fight against the truth of the Earth?
In the sense that he acknowledged that he was lying to himself, yes.
That is not an answer to Gio's fucking question.
So you
are you ready? Are you ready for Jeran to take this torch and run with it and represent the Globe?
Sure. In the sense
that was
he
so not
acknowledged that he lied
confident.
to himself.
In the sense
That
that
was
he's
so not a
your answer is in the sense that he's a confirmed liar from your words. You're saying? I didn't say that. You're saying that?
It's. I wouldn't say he's like being deceptive, but he acknowledges that he sort of had a block when it comes to Globe evidence. Yeah.
But doesn't he admit that he deceived his whole audience? Again, these are all his words, your words. I'm not putting out accusations.
Intentionally? I don't think so, no. I don't think intentional, no.
That is the nature of a lie, though, isn't it? Does it not have to be intentional?
It depends what the context is, yeah.
I take my definition of a lie actually from Aaron Ra. He had the best definition. It's an untruth that you speak and you know it is untrue when you said it.
Yeah.
That guy sucks so bad. I don't even. That's
yeah,
your
he
boy.
does. But no, he's not my boy. I'm just saying
That's
he has the
Glover,
best definition.
Glover atheist evolution boy.
Yes. I'm not a fan, but he did have a very good definition of the word lie. And I got that definition from watching the debate between he and Jeran.
I think that's a loosely parroted biblical verse that says that to do what you know that you ought not do, and you do it anyway. That's straight out of the New Testament. So
yeah, that's sin.
Yeah, Roohif, how could it not be purposeful when he did thousands and thousands of live streams over the years with Globebusters doing everything he did? How could that not be intentional? I mean, whatever he was saying, I'm saying was not intentional.
Well, can you intentionally lie to yourself? That kind of sounds odd, right?
Well, you're the one that brought this lying to yourself. If a lie, by definition, would be something that you know the truth and you're purposely saying something false. So no, you can't lie to yourself if you know that you're lying. If you know you're lying,
then what definition of what word would you like me to use where you are not taking globe evidence seriously? Like, what would you like to say?
I'm waiting for you to call Geo a champ.
Oh, Broseph. Broseph's a good one. Broseph's nowhere near as bad or as derogatory as champ, though.
Dude, who's your favorite flat earthers, bro? Are you guys in the middle of something right now, or?
Well, I can tell you who it's not. Let's go down the list.
I don't want to. Stop giving me stupid answers. You know what? I don't even care anymore. Forget it.
Not Hank. It's not that Jeremy guy. It's definitely not Rigger.
Nobody likes Rigger.
Risky goes all right. Risky's all right.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay.
It's not SE. It's not Eden.
Here's the thing. I'm not even a flat earther, but let's be honest here. Moon landing is fake. Distance to the sun is a lie.
That's facts.
Is that
right?
it?
That's all facts.
There's
Is there more?
No, there's more.
Break
Katy
it
Perry
down.
doesn't go to fucking space. Let's be honest here.
Talk to him.
Love it.
Talk to him. What else you got?
Take me off your list.
And you got these people like NASA Shield and Mathew Learns who don't agree with this, like globetards that they are. But the reality is, I'm a truth seeker. I'm not even a flat earther.
Don't do that. Don't do the insult stuff here. Mathew, by the way, last night when you were talking about how you come to your conclusion about the globe, that it was the best possible, you think, you were saying how the globe points are, in your mind, the best possible explanation for the phenomenon, right? Like you were saying that? He's lighting up. Mathew, are you there? Just me that can't hear him, or can you guys not hear him?
No, we can't hear him.
Cannot hear him.
Can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Mathew. But anyways, I was just going to say it's like the exact definition of abductive reasoning. I was just going to add that in because the way you were describing it. So, just saying that's you probably whether you knew that or not. He said he'll fix his mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just saying that's abductive reasoning.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not trying to prove anything. I was just saying that in science, we're doing inference to the best explanation. It's in logic and math that you prove things.
So you don't prove things with science?
Not necessarily. I think you can use similar kinds of reasoning, but you're not proving anything, no.
Is math science?
No, math is used in science.
Okay, so math is not science. At least you're consistent. I got you Globers to quit saying that stupid shit.
Jeremy, can I reply?
Roohif ruined it, but I mean, if you must.
Well, I did have a list, and the list is as follows. Top 3 flat earthers, as far as I'm concerned, is Mark Sargent, as far as being nice human beings. Mark Sargent, D Marble, and Carly Sunshine, if anyone remembers Carly Sunshine.
Mark Sargent
That's the worst
is
list
the worst.
I've ever. That is the worst list I've ever heard.
Yeah. Also, when you say the top 3 flat earthers, by what margin are you counting this?
By
Like,
what?
based
by
on
what
what
measure?
criteria?
By the criteria that they are pleasant human beings and nice people.
I was
So
going
Mark
off who got
Sargent,
the nicest. I was thinking like who's like the nicest, got the best arguments and shit.
No, I did say that as from the perspective of being a nice human being.
I know, but when you say top flat earthers, people assume you're talking about based on knowledge.
Well, D Marble is the first on the list because he's the
That's
first
what I was
actor
going
I ever saw I ever met. Carly Sunshine was lovely, and Mark Sargent was a really nice guy. So,
I would say Nathan Thompson also in person. I've met him and Mark Sargent in person at meetups, and they're both, friendly guys. Maybe not in their videos as much.
I met Thompson when he was still wearing his globe hat.
We had a flat Earth meetup on Sunday that I went to here in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Who'd you meet? Dan the Waterman? Did you guys touch tips?
No, he wasn't there that time. Nathan Thompson is there because he's on his way to the International Truth Expo out in Quartzsite, Arizona this weekend. And then a couple people from Australia had flown over for that event. But most interestingly, this guy named Jonathan, who is making the documentary about TFE. So he's the guy who filmed all the stuff and is working on it. He was actually there in Antarctica.
Did they harangue him about when's the documentary going to come out?
Yeah, he said he's still working on it. He has like tons and tons of footage because he had all these cameras and he just like got as much footage as possible. But it's interesting because the people from Australia were like, "Well, I don't think that's real." But then he showed up and was like telling him that he saw the sun in the sky for 24 hours in a row personally. So it's hard to argue with that.
There's a difference between documentaries and movies. Movies are hard to start but easy to finish. Documentaries are easy to start but hard to finish.
No, I think that's right.
So just a question here. So when I tell the Globers that the moon landing is fake, they say, well, that doesn't mean that the Earth is flat. Fine. But so when you see a 24-hour sun, let's assume there's a 24-hour sun. Does that tell you that the Earth is a globe?
Not necessarily, but the globe Earth has a good explanation for why that happens. And I haven't heard any decent explanation on the flat Earth or why that could happen.
Can I, Matthew, I just want to say this one thing, because when we were talking about it yesterday, I just wanted to read this real quick. So, because we were talking about the different type of reasoning, and the thing I was saying is that this type of reasoning could lead you astray, and this is why I just want to read this. Abductive reasoning is a type of logical inference that forms the most likely or plausible explanation for an observation or set of observations. It is often called inference to the best explanation, and is used when information is incomplete, making it a form of educated guessing rather than drawing a guaranteed conclusion. So that's what I was saying last night, is that the potential with this, like using the best explanation thing, I mean, I hear why one would do that, and I'm not saying it's useless to do that, but it's often done when the information is incomplete, because you wouldn't really need like the best explanation, as if it's like this one, that's why they're saying it's more of like an educated guess rather than an actual for sure conclusion. Like in terms of something like as solid as like water boiling, like we wouldn't have to be like, our best guess is that water boils at this temperature. It's like, you know for sure it will boil at a certain temperature, at a certain altitude and so on. So anyways, it's just like, because we were talking about that, and then I was thinking about abductive reasoning today, and I was just going to bring that up in our conversation, but it also just related to what you just said right there, because you're saying, okay, 24-hour sun, you think is the best explanation, but are you using that because the information is complete, and so you're doing kind of more of an educated guess with that instead of actually knowing for sure? Therefore, it could be option B or C?
Yeah, so I think observations are different than theories that explain the observations. And so for theories and for models or whatever, all you have is educated guesses. Obviously, with observations, those are things that you can actually see and confirm in a different way. So it's like the difference between the what and the how. The what is 24-hour sun. The how, or the why does that work, would be the explanation.
Yeah, but if you think the globe is the best explanation, but does that mean it's the correct one?
Well, it's certainly more likely to be correct than a bad explanation. So good explanations are a long way towards finding out the actual truth. Wouldn't you say that?
Well, it could be, but my point is that it could not be. Like, just if you're calling it the best explanation, I'm not saying that it is, but if you're saying that it is, I'm just saying the actual truth could be another option. So are you not asserting that
That's true.
it's just a preference?
No, I'm saying that things that are true are by definition the best explanation, and so the obverse of that or adverse of that is not necessarily true. But if you do have a good explanation, then that's pretty good evidence that you might be at the truth. Because if you have a bad explanation, then it's probably not true. I'm not explaining this very well. I'm sorry.
No, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you mean. I mean, yeah, but it just doesn't always mean it's the truth. Like if you're investigating like a murder or something and you have something that you really think is the best explanation, you're like, God, it must be this. But what if it's actually not that? What if it's actually option B or option C? And so if you're just going off of like a somewhat subjective analysis of like the best explanation based on, sort of more of an educated guess, I'm just suggesting that, like, do you agree that it is possible that could be, leading you to a thought pattern that could be reinforcing something that isn't true, or thinking something that isn't true, or reinforcing it because of that kind of form of going about it?
Yes. I agree with that.
I think that the theory that the word that we use is often swapped in and swapped out without recognition of the student or whoever's trying to learn something. The theoria from Greek meant to behold, to witness, but in Latin it meant basically like you're talking about, an educated guess, right? But these educated guesses get presented as a fact. So I think
the example
there's a problem there with the meaning of the word and how it's used. The meanings seem to get swapped out.
What category would you put the idea that water is H2O, two hydrogens, and it's a molecule of two hydrogens and one oxygen? Is that a fact
objective
or a theory?
I think I'd call that an observation.
I would say it's objective fact.
Yeah, but we don't observe it exactly. It's like the explanation of our observations, like electrolysis and steam and whatever.
Well, yeah, we have gas analyzers, and you shock the hell out of it, and then you get your constituent parts.
And then you put a little soap in there above the bubbler, and you can make some pretty decent pops.
Well, coming out when the hydrogen. But that's, dude, I can go on and on and on about water, but that's not really the subject matter. It's
I want to point out that the phrase that I like to call it is a shady inference. Now there might be some good inferences, right? Like water is H2O. Okay, that's a really good inference. And it's no longer an inference when you take it into the lab, right? But for me, who haven't been to the lab, that's a good inference. But to say that, magma, therefore globe, that would be a shady inference.
It's funny you brought up the H2O. Yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to respond to that part, but I was just going to say on the H2O part, like, actually, it's interesting you brought that up because that was the example Mathew brought up last night. Like, and I was actually saying that, in the conversation we were having, like, potentially wasn't the best example just because people can test that, people can test whether water is H2O and the whole atomic theory, and whether there's other viewpoints of that's actually like electrostatics that are creating the bonds of the matter that, not the actual, electron formation of what they claim. So yeah, and then Mathew was like, well, yeah, maybe using like boiling water or something. So we were trying to talk about something that doesn't really like require the abductive reasoning or like just the best explanation, like something that's just solid, and that's why the thing about that, like it's about whether you have like the full information or not. Because if you have the full information, then you wouldn't really have to take just choose out of a list of best things. You would just have the truth.
It is an excellent question. how do we know, right? How does anyone know something? And when you talk to a chemist and you break it down, it's still theory. Like in physics, when you break it down, it's still theory, right? Whether it's the theory of relativity or quantum theory, which seems to be prevailing now.
You can do things with theories.
Well, like first, before it's a theory, it's a conjecture, right? And then when people find, oh, this is, this could work, and it then becomes accepted.
So Matthew, real quick, well, if anyone wants to pick up on that, but Matthew, just about the 24-hour sun thing when he asked you, so you would not say that it means the Earth is a globe. You would just say that you think it's the best explanation, but the Earth could still not be a globe, and that could still occur in your view. The 24-hour sun.
It'd be hard for me to imagine how, because it's such a good explanation. I don't know any other explanation. So, I guess technically it could, come up with some like random thing. But yeah, it's not so much that there's a 24-hour sun alone. It's that he said that he saw the 24-hour sun going from right to left around him in a circle. And if you go to the North Pole or up in far north 6 months later, you see it going from left to right around you in a circle. So it's going the opposite direction. And I think that's because you're facing a different direction. Up is a different direction.
Yeah, but we know the stars do that. Clockwise and counterclockwise, so that's already happening. That's what a vortex is. And you get the clockwise, if you drag like a paddle through water, you'll get the clockwise and counterclockwise effects, or just even like wind, like in the Bernoulli principle for like air flight, where you get those little, like right around the wing, you'll get these clockwise and counterclockwise little vortices. So I mean, that's something in nature we can see, and in magnetic fields do that too. Magnetic field lines. Torus fields, etc. I'm just saying the fact the sun does it is not surprising, because the sun is tracking upon the same tracks as the stars, and the stars do that. So,
yeah, it's just that you can see it in the sun for 24 full hours. I suppose you could see that with the at nighttime with the stars, but people haven't done that as much, maybe.
Why do you think it took globe earthers 10 years to demonstrate the 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
Oh, it didn't. People have known about that for a long time.
Well, I looked, and every time I looked, I didn't see anything that was worthwhile. I've heard Geo say that he's seen videos, but I never saw anything that was convincing. Well, now that I think about it, I'm still not convinced.
That's a you problem. That's a you
problem. Yeah, you're right. I was acknowledging that, right? Yeah.
Well, I think if I had to estimate, I mean, you guys can say what you think, because I haven't counted them, but I think there's, like, even leaving the TFE trip out of it, what do you, like, Roohif, Mathew, there's about 20, 25? Is there even that many? I mean, the thing is, the first ones in, like, 2014, 15, 16 were pretty shoddy. Like, they were cut, and I'm not trying to get into the debate whether those were fake or not. We can get into that whole, but they were shoddy. I mean, we used to debate them back then, and so on, and it was always, like, pretty bad. Like, just those few. But then every year, like Anthony Powell put one out, Robert Schwartz, so like 2017, 18, they started getting a bit better. There was the one 360 one that was Whitsitt and myself and a bunch of us in here, like maybe 2 years ago, went over that one. And it was pretty difficult to find anything that looked outwardly fake about it. Like even when we were all debating it in here, there was a few things, but it was not. So anyways, that one. But then there's a bunch of other ones too some of the other ones didn't come out until like 2019, 2020, 2021, where I started seeing them, like some of the ones that were, claimed to be from there. And I was like, wow, these like pretty genuine, like were not nearly as shoddy as the ones from 2015, 16, those earlier years. So I think there's probably about 20. I mean, what do you guys think, Roohif, or anyone off the top of your head? I think there's about that many. And then when you
sounds about right. But I would say that that's just in general true about all videos about anything, just because putting videos online is way easier now than before YouTube. So like, for example, videos of balloon flights way up high or something like that. It's just that, I don't know if you remember 25 years ago, it was just hard to get videos And even if you did have a video, you'd have to digitize it, and it was this huge file. And then where do you put it online so people could see it? E-Bombs World or something like that. And so I would say that the existence of a lot more videos now is not specifically unique to Antarctica. It's just the way that the world is with videos in general.
Well, I want to say that if there was no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, wouldn't it take them about 7 years to fake it? And with AI getting really good, wouldn't they have been, getting better and better at faking it as we called them out and like pick them apart, and the Globers take notes like, okay, don't do this and don't do that. And, if they were to fake it, and I'm not claiming that it is fake, I'm on the fence saying I don't know, but I think that makes sense to me that it would take, well, what did Kennedy announce? We're going to the moon, not because it's easy, because it's hard. In like, what, the early 60s, and then by 69 they faked it? And it was good
You're
enough
right.
to trick people
It's
back
way
then?
easier to fake videos now than it was 10, 20 years ago. You're right about that.
Well, I do hear Larry in that. So, Larry, there is the idea. It is kind of like a double bluff conspiracy kind of concept where I'll try to say it really briefly, but basically like, okay, they're going to lie to us about the globe. They're going to have a backup flat earth psyop that's kind of locked and loaded, ready to go. Maybe it would be the AE map with the Gleasons and the sun path and the merry-go-round sun around the North Pole and no 24-hour sun in the South and the Antarctic ice wall. Like from the perspective that that's not what the Earth is, like that whole model is not it, then there is the idea that they would have like preloaded that or kind of like had that ready as like a backup to the globe. And then knowing that a bunch of people that would deny the globe or realize the Earth's not a globe would likely cling to that. And then they would run like a narrative basically that would, lead up to, with something like the no 24-hour sun, which, that was maybe like from this perspective that was like purposely planted as false information, getting people all attached to it, getting the flat earther name and all that term attached to it, to then have, now whether Duffy is involved in it or not, or whether he just happened to do it, that's another question, but to eventually have people go there and realize, okay, there is a 24-hour sun, therefore all of flat earth, quote unquote, is, they would try to discredit all of it and say, okay, well, the Earth isn't flat, even though, of course, it could still be planar and stationary and be functioning a different way, but that they would try to link that all in together. So I'm just saying that is one idea, that it was actually like a psyop within a psyop, that they planted it. And then that would potentially explain why the first videos were kind of funky and arguably fake, like in terms of the way they were cut. And then the real videos didn't come out till later because they were like ramping it up like purposely to kind of get to the point to reveal it and then be like, oh, look, there is a 24-hour sun. All you flat earthers are wrong. Earth's a globe, trying to do that. So I'm just saying that is one idea, but what that idea could play into what you're saying, because I actually agree, like the years in like Anthony Powell and Robert Schwartz that were pumping the 24-hour sun videos out, there was usually about one a year, like 2016, 2017, 2018. And we were doing exactly what you said. We were looking at them, looking at all the issues, that were not genuine. And then the next year they would fix those issues and then they would have other issues. And then next year they would fix those issues and there would be other issues. But to me, it wasn't until about 2019, 2020 until ones came out that looked genuine. So whether that's all like a planned time rollout, now if they purposely faked those first ones, like, or they made them a bit funky, was that to fuel the thing of like, because people would always say like, why would they fake it if it was real? You know what I mean? And then that reinforces there isn't a 24-hour sun there. So like, I know that's like a double bluff thing that like they purposely faked them, rolled it out, but because in a way I partially like agree with what you're saying. Like, now does that mean that it took them that long to fake it effectively? I understand how that conclusion could be drawn, in the idea of it, but I'm also just putting forth, this other perspective that it could have been planned that way in some sense.
Well, like Witsit asked me one day, like point blank, are you calling me a liar? And I was like, dude, you're looking at this all wrong. From my perspective, it's just information. It has nothing to do with you personally. And maybe I said it a little more rude than that, but I didn't mean to. But basically, we went over lie earlier. It requires intent. Is it possible that they, tricked all of them and that technology is like 100 years ahead than what we've been led to believe, because we've been chasing our tails with E equals MC squared. Meanwhile, the Trump family's had the Tesla tech for the past 100 years. They had Tesla had a remote control boat in like the late 1890s, so think about how far they could possibly be with technology underground. and then you want me to just believe something because I saw it on TV? I don't know, man. I'm going to reserve my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
He had a radio-controlled submarine before World War One, launching torpedoes and whatnot.
I hear you, Larry. What would that? Well, unless you want to comment back on that, the Tesla thing. Yeah, that. Well, I was just, if you want to respond to that as well, but I was just going to say, but like, are you like the idea that there was a fake object in the sky that wasn't the real sun, and Whitson and those guys did actually go there and saw it and felt the heat upon their face and did the magnifying glass burning paper, but that it was, is that what you're?
How hard would it be to make a holographic sun if they sprayed enough nanoparticles to excite a plasma reaction?
Dude, you could tell if the sun is fake. If you're standing outside looking at the...
How do you know? Have you ever seen a fake sun before? How would you know?
I don't know.
Well, let me ask you that. Okay, how about this though? The two other things. One is that the sun, when it goes south of the equator, it starts arcing towards the South Pole. You know how it rises south of east and sets south of west? You know, all the suns are making a circle around the South Pole. Well, the Tropic of Cancer is also that anti-arc circle. So the sun actually, like, it doesn't keep doing, you know, when it's north of the equator, yeah, the idea that it's making concentric circles around Polaris fits, and it fits that because it's like arcing towards the North Pole. But when it goes south of the equator, it starts arcing towards the South Pole. So that implies that the continuation of that, when you go further south in the elevation angles, is that in a symmetrical way that it does in the north, that it would end up a 24-hour sun in the south. So what about that, do you think?
Well, I mean, if they could hypothetically fake it, I guess they could move it. I mean, didn't we see Tupac perform in like the 2000s? So if they can make Tupac and Freddie Mercury dance on stage decades after they died, what else could they do if they were to increase the power? And then didn't that one guy, the whistleblower from Antarctica, said that they had like a super massive power generator down there? What was he? He was like a whistleblower, and he was saying that basically they had an earthquake machine because it's like almost unlimited power down there. So I'm not claiming that it's fake. I'm claiming that I don't know. I'm taking a skeptical position and reserving my opinion. And Matthew, I'm sorry I cut you off. Please continue.
Oh, you didn't cut me off. I was done.
Okay, well, well, let me say real quick. I hear you. The thing is, like, what I'm talking about can be observed anywhere south of the equator, so like 50 degrees south, 40, 30, anywhere you can see the arcing of the sun, like set, rise south of east and set south of west. So it's actually doing this anti-arc effect. Like, it's not circling the North Pole. It's not circling Polaris when it goes south of the equator. It seems to be circling Sigma Octantis in terms of just the arc pattern in the south. So I was saying that. Now, if I hear what you're saying about faking it all the way in Antarctica, but there's a point, like if you're at 50 degrees south and you're seeing the sun, like if you're suggesting that sun is real, unless you're just saying the entire sun is fake, like the sun we see every day is fake. But if that sun is real,
no.
Yeah, so if that sun is real, I'm just saying it's already arcing towards the south. It's already making that anti-arc, effect to the south. And so I just, that part, so it makes sense that if you go further south, that's what it would do, just like it does in the north. But then in addition, like if you were to fake the sun there, you'd have to like have a barrier to like block off the real sun, from like Punta Arenas or South America, for example. You'd have to like block it off because the circling effect is completely different than what it would do if it was like on an AE map with the sun going around Polaris. Like the actual, I don't want to be too long-winded. I could explain it if further, but the difference. But basically, the elevation angle and the arc angle. So like for them to fake a sun there, I'm saying they would have to like. Well, first of all, some answer we had to as to why the sun already is arcing there at 50 degrees south. So that would have to be one thing. But then even if somehow they would have to have like a massive barrier where they'd have to block off the real sun and then put a fake sun in the sky, and then they would have like take those guys on an airplane like through that barrier. I'm just kind of laying out like what would be.
Yeah, I get you. There's lots of arguments against it. That's why I'm not really trying to make the claim that it didn't happen. I'm just saying that I don't know. Which you can see how, being agnostic on something like this is an honest position, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I'm not trying to.
I'm without knowledge.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that, and I'm not even trying to debate it. I'm just more kind of excitedly bringing up just the components of it and wondering what your thoughts are. I'm not trying to like debate it or tell you. I mean, I haven't been there. I do think there is one there, but I have not been there, and I could explain why I think there is one. But at the same time, I'm not trying to like compel others, and I totally understand, your position. It makes sense if you haven't been there, and then there's only certain video evidences to go off, and everybody is going to assess that differently for themselves.
Right. Yeah, so just to be clear, I'm just claiming that I don't know. It's very possible that there's 24-hour sun in the North and South Pole.
So the technical issues of doing a video of the sun before digital, 24-hour, is technically impossible. So you couldn't do it before digital photography existed. And then after digital, when digital photography then became a thing, then you have the technical issues of the camera not freezing and all the rest of that sort of stuff. And the amount of storage you'd need and all the rest. It was still technically impossible, probably until the 2000s, I would guess. And then you still have the problem of storage up until maybe 10 years ago. So that's why, and then you go along the Chinese manufacturers, like the one that everyone has strapped to their forehead, GoPro and those type of companies. They made it a lot more easy. But it was, so that's why there's not many videos. And the other thing about that I was going to mention, Gio, is we don't know if all of the videos that have been taken in Antarctica have been put online. We just know the ones that are readily available online. They could be in other places that we don't know about.
Well, it seemed like there was extremely limited access to Antarctica and what the sky and the sun does there. Now, from the theory that they actually rolled this out and it was like a purposeful limited access, then that would be why. And they were going to roll out this PSYOP and also just keeping Antarctica kind of from people to a degree. But dude, it seems bizarre to me. I mean, I hear you to some extent, but I mean, in the 70s, no 24-hour sun footage of Antarctica existed to the public. In the 80s, none of it existed. In the 90s, none of it existed. In the 2000s, none of it existed. And no one could even be... Back then, they didn't have the ALE trips like they do now. So no one could even go there. If you were in 1983 and you were like, hey, I want to go see the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, it would have been extremely impossible. There weren't all the same trips. Now, there may have been some trips, though. If you were wealthy, maybe... Like, it depends on what year we're talking about. But it would not have been feasible... they didn't have the same trips they do now. Now, if you were in the military or something, maybe you could have. But it is weird to me, though, that, I mean, dude, it should have been on National Geographic in 1985, 1975. The beautiful 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So it is strange. Well, like, even if they didn't let civilians go there as easily, like, there should have still been just record of it. So it does seem like it could fit with a controlled rollout, kind of thing.
Most people would have gone during the summer in Antarctica, which is during the time Final Experiment, TFE, went. So most of the people are going to go in the summer, and most of the people that are going to go are going to return and say, I saw the sun, and it was still up, and it was 3 a.m. So they're not going to be able to necessarily prove that, but they are going to be able to try to go to sleep and then find they can't sleep because they're in their tent and the sun's still up. And there's many people who would have that same story. But then 24-hour footage, if you want 24, but that's just, so just going back to that is just people saying, I went there and I saw this. The same as the people going to the moon. So you could say all those people have been compromised in some way. But then they got photographs of it. And again, you could say that was during the day and you didn't go during the night. You could have lied about the time you took the picture. But then because it became technically possible to do a time lapse of 24-hour sun, then they got the first few videos and people still said there's something dodgy. And then the only time when we found out for sure that is something you can do is take 24-hour sun video is at TFE.
Wait, what?
I mean, TFE is probably the first time you could say that anyone was really sure because you had multiple witnesses, multiple cameras.
Yeah, so I think, again, this is due to the advancement of video technology. So, yeah, there aren't any videos of the 24-hour sun in the 70s and 80s because I don't know of any technology that could keep a camera going for 24 hours in a row. I mean, because it was film cameras.
Yeah,
digital cameras were too, were too new or didn't have enough space or whatever. And the reason that it worked this year is because for the first time they could have a constant, persistent Starlink uplink, so they could, live stream where it wasn't possible even the year before that. So there are several, and just the advancing technologies of GoPros and 360-degree cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So a lot of things had to come together for that to happen.
Right.
Well, they didn't. They didn't really live stream the 24-hour sun, so that part is not. I mean, they did have like Witsit and those guys were live streaming on their channels, but they didn't actually live stream the sun. So the fact they had Starlink. I mean, somebody should have been able to get footage of it in any of those years, 80s, 90s, especially when you're the government.
How? Using what?
When you're the
Harry,
government.
no, it was
What are you going to record?
Impossible.
How are you going to record 24 hours of video straight in 1983 on a VHS?
They've been making movies for years. There's all kinds of.
And how long does a typical movie, like one can of film, last? I think it's 90 minutes.
You can tape them together. So let's say you had a reel, right?
Yeah, but you have to make cuts. You make cuts every hour. Now it's not a 24-hour.
Well, you could just set up a series of cameras with a series of reels.
The camera would not survive 24 hours in those temperatures. No camera time would survive that long.
Thing back then.
There's no technical way that you would be able to do it with film. Am I going to say it's impossible?
Well, how did they do it on the moon?
Yes, I'm going to say it's impossible.
The moon's negative 250 degrees. So do you believe in moon landings?
No, I'm just talking about the 24-hour sun footage and why it's impossible to get that before digital and difficult to get it when we did have digital. Until now, when you've got 2 terabyte storage and you've got batteries that can withstand. Don't forget, it isn't just the camera; it's the power for the camera and the batteries. The batteries have to be able to withstand the extreme temperatures.
Right, because you're not American, I can't tell if that no was like no, absolutely, or no, I'll go ahead and talk because you said I could go. So, do you think we went to the moon?
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about Antarctica, though.
Right. So this is one of the things that I do. You're going to hate me for it, but I like to make connections that people don't normally make, right? So you don't think they could do it in Antarctica, but somehow they did it on the moon, which is like 200 degrees colder?
They didn't do a 24-hour video on the moon.
No, but they did record on the moon, and, the film is very brittle, right?
Yeah. And in Antarctica, they could film, but for only very short periods of time. So before the camera broke, before the film would snap or whatever else, film was, brittle. That's right. But you're not talking about. See, on the moon, you're mainly talking about very short roll. What you call short roll, you don't call it really short roll. So film canisters, which are small, compact, and they take 3 minutes of footage. They existed in 8mm form, and they had little blue canisters. And you had a little camera, and you could take 3 minutes of footage with them. And then they get in photography. Again, you would have what they would not really call short roll cameras with the Hasselblads that they use, but the long roll is what they would need for video footage, and those simply would have been too big. And splicing together, even if you could do that, the camera wouldn't survive it. Not for that long. So, I mean, that's just.
And there's a question of motivation. Nobody's trying to prove that there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Nobody's trying to prove that the moon landing was real. They just were taking videos of what they saw. So it's not like proving it was their main motivation.
So nobody was trying to prove it, but they sent flat earthers to Antarctica.
No, we're talking about the moon.
At that point, that was the first time I think that people were seriously trying to prove it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you mean by nobody's trying to prove it?
I meant that in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and even the recent YouTube videos before TFE, the videos were mainly just artistic videos or showing a cool effect or something. It wasn't like I don't think their main motivation was to prove that there is a 24-hour sun.
I mean, the testimony is we'd have just done it. So it would say, I shot this footage at 3 a.m. and then someone else would go and shot the footage at 5 a.m. and the sun's still up.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up? How's it going?
So, I don't know who all's in here that was on the stuff the last few days, but I know past few days there's been some talk in here at certain times about like superluminal speeds and propagation and stuff, and violations of relativity and Einstein's gay and stuff like that. Are any of you guys present for those conversations?
Talking about FTL travel?
Yeah. So, boy, do I have a new experiment for you guys. This is fresh off the press last year. I just dropped it in the chat, but some researchers out of some universities in Germany and Greece took some Wimshurst. If you guys know what Wimshurst machines are, just a capacitor made of two metal spheres that you can charge. Took two spherical capacitors, put antennas, a transmitter under one and a receiver under the other, so that the antennas could be to pick up the radio signals emitted, and hooked those antennas into the two channels of an oscilloscope. They put the two capacitors 5 light nanoseconds apart, roughly, and then they took one of them and charged it with the Wimshurst machine to high enough voltage until it spark gapped, until there was an arc flash. And when an arc flash happens, it produces radio frequencies. So what they did is they measured the radio frequencies in the near field, meaning that the wavelength was greater than the distance between them. So they were measuring in this particular experiment 150 meter wavelength and greater, and the separation distance was 1.5 meters. So they were measuring wavelengths 100 times or greater that of the separation distance between the capacitors, meaning they were in the super near field. And they have the two antennas, as I said before, hooked up to the two channels of an O-scope, and you can measure what the time delay is between the emitter and receiver. And what they found was that there was no measurable time delay between the emitter and receiver signals, showing that the displacement current signal, the scalar potential, was transmitted from one capacitor to the other across space, either instantaneously or so superluminally that it exceeded the resolution of their instrument. So their oscilloscope has 400 picosecond steps and 1 nanosecond intervals, so it's accurate to at least plus or minus 1 nanosecond, and it's a 5 nanosecond roughly separation distance. So yeah, that's the yellow on the picture I just posted in chat. The yellow, that's the arc flash on the transmitter side, and the blue is what got picked up on the receiver side, and you can see that they start at the exact same moment in time. So there was when you look at Maxwell's equations, Maxwell discussed what's called the displacement current for a capacitor. The displacement current is specifically different from an electron current. It's not due to the flow of electrons. It's built primarily by the scalar potential of the electric field, which is a scalar quantity. It's just voltage, right? Static voltage. And what occurs here is that there is a change in the static field voltage, or the DC voltage, between two capacitors separated across distance. So we know the cause of the change is an arc flash. So you just measure the time delay across the known distance, and that's the velocity of the scalar potential propagation change, or scalar potential propagation of its change. And it's They repeated it. They were in 18 different measurements. They did it with 2 different oscilloscopes. They time synced both oscilloscopes. They changed out the filters. They changed out the leads. They changed out pretty much every component possible in the experiment and got the same exact result every single time. So it was confirming Maxwell's theory about the displacement current, that it is
Yeah, I was going
instantly.
to say that sounds just like Maxwell's work. But yeah, thanks for sharing, dude. This it's about time.
Yeah, and it's very devastating to the relativistic framework, because when you look at the Maxwell's equation for an electric field, it only has two terms in the equation. There's the gradient of the scalar potential, the voltage, and there's the change in time of the A field. The change in time of the A field is what we know as the ontological origin of electromagnetic waves, so which are hard limited by the speed of light c. So the only other term in that equation is the scalar potential. But if the scalar potential is propagating, it's not going to be a transverse wave. Transverse waves are the things that are limited to c. So the only other option is that it's a longitudinal wave. But that's very damaging. Number one, it's obviously happening faster than c, which is already on its face not allowed. Number two, there's said not to be such a thing as longitudinal electromagnetic waves, because that doesn't fit within the standard model either. But longitudinal waves, the thing about them that's different than a transverse wave doesn't actually require any forward and back motion of particles, because a transverse wave doesn't actually travel. What it appears as if it travels, but it's actually just the up and down motion of fixed points within a field that are moving up and down, and as you look at the up and down motion, it looks like it's moving forward like a snake, but they're not actually moving. But a longitudinal wave is different, because in a longitudinal wave, it's composed of the actual forward and back motion of a real material, of a real medium. The compression and expansion of that medium forwards and backwards is what constitutes a longitudinal wave. So in order for there to be a longitudinal wave, you have to have a medium. And the only known instances in which they acknowledge longitudinal electromagnetic waves are in special cases such as like plasmons and stuff like that, where you have an actual medium like a plasma there that will propagate a longitudinal electromagnetic disturbance, because they accept, even in the mainstream model, that longitudinal waves inherently require a physical medium, because space itself does not have the type of physical properties necessary for a longitudinal wave propagation. That's why it's not possible in a vacuum, at least in the standard model. Yet here we have it in these experiments. So this shows, number one, faster than light energy and information transfer. Number two, longitudinal scalar waves. And number three, an ether, which is the medium necessary for those waves to propagate, all in one fell swoop by these researchers in Germany and Greece. It's pretty dope. Just confirming what Maxwell told us 160 years ago or so.
So piezo, these are this standing wave technology. Is that like common knowledge, or is it not?
Has nothing to do with standing waves.
Okay, so what is this idea of what's the terminology of a wave that is not traveling but it vibrates in place?
Yeah, so I was talking about a transverse wave. Like technically, yeah, you're likening the non-travel to standing waves, right? But a standing wave is actually where, like, if you look at it in like a standing wave cavity, like a resonant cavity that creates standing waves, it appears as if the wave's like frozen and like shifting across the cavity. All the phases are like frozen pretty much. But I'm talking transverse. Like if you look at a transverse wave modeled in like a simulator with like a bunch of little orbs, each individual orb just moves up and down and they all move up and down like in like a snake shape. So it makes it look like there's a wave traveling, but the orbs are actually not moving left or right at all. They're just oscillating in place. That's what a transverse wave looks like. A longitudinal wave is specifically different. Like the individual orbs actually move forwards and move backwards because there's an actual compression wave.
It's like a shock wave.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like like sound. Sound is a longitudinal wave.
What's the difference in equipment that's emitting this? Like, is there any unique aspect of the equipment specifically?
No, it's super basic equipment. The thing is you could actually do this in tons of labs. Like all universities have oscilloscopes and Wimshurst machines. It'd be super easy to do this. But it's just a spherical capacitor. So a Wimshurst machine just has two spherical orbs, metal orbs, and you hook up one of them to a charge source, like or voltage source, like a Wimshurst machine, and you just spin the wheel and it charges up the voltage. And in their particular case, they did a set at 30 kilovolts and a set at 70 kilovolts per centimeter. And got some really noticeable, output spikes on the graph, impulses. When the spark gap happens, it emits light, some blue visible spectrum light, some ultraviolet light, and then a bunch of radio frequencies between 150 kilohertz and the gigahertz range, but most of the radio frequencies are between 150 kilohertz and 10 megahertz.
I'm just curious because I think a lot of what you're describing there is what I'm seeing in the skies when you see those parallel lines. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do they create it? Is it like basic tech? Is it already off existing tech? And they just pulse the electricity in a certain way that's different? Because there's standing waves all over the sky all the time. It's like, I'm assuming this technology is sort of playing a role.
Yeah, well, just to be clear, this isn't doing anything like that. Like, it's not a standing wave generator. That's like standing wave generators are, like I said, they're useful in like optical laser cavities and stuff. This is something totally different. It's just it reminded you because of we were talking about like the particles not moving back and forth. But yeah, there's a picture that Bull Knight just pasted in the chat showing the diagram from the paper of their experimental setup. Yeah, it's really basic. Anybody could do this.
That blue light that you mentioned, Tesla called that ether flow, believe it or not.
Yeah, well, it's like a violent rupture of the dielectric medium, which in this case is air. It can also happen in vacuum, of course. But yeah, it's I love the simplicity of this experiment, right? Because it's just they got an O-scope, they got two antennas, two capacitors, and some low pass filters just to filter out all the crazy signals that they don't want to look at, and that's it. And bam, look at this, no time delay. And they talk about in the paper like what they want to do, like in the future, like when they repeat it, they want to be able to have the capacitors even further apart, or even use one big capacitor with the plates further apart, just to get an increased separation distance, just to drive the point home even better, and also to get a higher resolution oscilloscope so they can maybe try and measure just how superluminal it is. There's a curve graph. Hold on, let me show you the curve graph that they show in the paper, explaining the math of like why it's superluminal, because it's because using a longitudinal wave, they can show the phase velocity in units of c as compared to the distance in units of wavelength. So that's right here. And as you can see, starting at zero distance, it's a straight vertical asymptote on that graph. Like starting at the origin point of the arc flash for the longitudinal wave, it's like infinite nearly, right? Like you can't even read it. But as you increase in distance away from it, you approach down to that dotted line of 1c. That dotted line gets reached when you reach a distance of one wavelength away, or about one wavelength. Yeah, it's super interesting. Makes me wonder about the stuff Tesla did, like, oh my gosh, what if we had some big equipment where we could make it like arc flash on like a frequency, like, X many arc flashes per second, and that would be like an arc flash frequency, and then so that would be like a modulated frequency onto the longitudinal components, and we could use that to like carry power wirelessly between capacitors. Your emitter would just be a giant capacitor set that does that, and then your receiver would just be another capacitor set that does that, tuned to whatever frequency you've got it at. The wireless power transmission.
Yeah, like Wi-Fi. Your phone is picking up the Wi-Fi, but it's also picking up radiant energy, which Tesla call his longitudinal waves, right? So imagine no wires at all. That's what Tesla was talking about.
So the near field, right? The way this would work is the near field is within one wavelength or the distance is less than one wavelength, and so like 150 kilohertz, for example, 150 kilohertz is about 3 kilometers, I think. So no, sorry, 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers, I think. So if you got 150 kilohertz is the frequency you're picking up, you could transmit things. You could have like repeater stations every 500 meters or 1 kilometer apart. Just put repeaters every, instead of having like power line towers everywhere, because there's power lines continuously running across the whole country. You could just have repeater stations every half a kilometer or whatever, and they would just be repeating these impulses of the
I suppose
potential.
not to be not to be too much of a Debbie Downer, but people have concerns over Bluetooth devices, the cell phone signals. I don't know what would be the potential impact on nature if you were to start trying to rig up an electrical system like that.
These are not standard electromagnetic waves. They don't propagate in the same way. They're not on the same kind of like frequency that you're talking about. So they're also very low. They're low frequency compared to So Wi-Fi is like 5 gigahertz. We're not even talking megahertz here. We're talking like hundreds of kilohertz up to a couple megahertz. Like that, the wavelength on that's super long. It's not going to be harmful to people. It's the high frequency stuff that's harmful to people. But also, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen in the change in magnitude, I suppose, of the influence of these impulses over space. Because what's interesting is when I look at that picture on the graph that I posted at 11:57, there's only 1.5 meters apart, of course. So I mean, 1.5 meters apart is not that far, but it's still plenty far enough to get energy dissipation. But what's odd is that, like, if you look at the vertical magnitude of the oscillations on the yellow and the blue, they look pretty similar. Like, it doesn't really look much like there's a huge dissipation in energy from point 1 to point 2. It does look like, the signal on the second one's a little less noisy, because the first one's probably got like that violent, like when the arc flash actually happens, you got the violent dissipation of the immediate ionization around it, which is probably why it looks a little bit noisier, and the second one looks a little cleaner because that's not happening there. But overall, like, as far as like the amplitude of the signal, the second signal's amplitude looks pretty much the same. So it's really curious. Like, I wonder if somehow, because we know that traveling transverse waves obey the inverse square law, right? Because they're actual traveling waves. But if the scalar potential is actually just if these longitudinal waves are actually just like the ether's ever present everywhere, and it's like an instantaneous or near instantaneous change in the voltage across, like, through the medium that's ever present, it might not have to obey the same ratios of energy loss across space. So, like, if that's the case, not only would you be able to transmit power wirelessly, you could have, like, extremely reduced loss over distance.
What if we stop taking the gold and the silver out of the rivers and springs, and everybody drink, gold and silver in their water naturally? Not big chunks, but the nanoparticles that are naturally in there, and everybody had their salt, and our electromagnetic fields got bigger. I mean, wouldn't that increase the power a little bit? Like if every creature on Earth was getting proper nutrients? I don't know. Just spitballing.
I mean, I don't know that. Not to say that that's good or bad. I just don't know that that's, like, related to this at all. But
it's not. I tend to go way outside the box sometimes. Sorry about that. Please continue.
yeah, though it's I've always been interested in Maxwell's displacement current ever since I first heard about it, like a little over a year ago. Like when I was, like, first hearing, like, exactly what it was. Started looking into it. Looked into it more earlier this year, and I had, once I understood, like, what it was and what it was supposed to explain, I had some very sneaking suspicions about it, right? And this, like, basically this experiment confirmed a lot of those for me. It's yeah.
But like Mathew said earlier, if we're just going on explanations. Go ahead, bro.
I just wonder if he was describing a traumatic incident with a game of dress up. Maybe I misheard that. But am I mistaken?
You probably misheard it.
Okay,
Did you say a game of dress up?
Yeah, I just jumped in here. It sounded like he was talking about a game of dress up that made him feel bad.
Nope. You thought my shit was way off topic.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Imagine if a guy named Einstein never existed, how the world would be today.
I think Jeremy would have invented it if Einstein hadn't got to it. It was coming. All the pieces of the puzzle were coming together in a lot of different fields of science.
Is that like
I think it was.
Oh, sorry.
He discovered it before anybody else, but I think, not to downplay his genius at all, but I think, given enough time, that would have been discovered. Like most things in
No
science.
chance anybody would have came up with time and space and put it into a fabric if it wasn't for that madman. No chance in hell another guy would have thought of that.
Oh, dude.
So is this like one of those, if you could go back in time and take out Hitler arguments? Like, how would the world be different?
Yeah, bro.
Would you take out baby Isaac Newton?
I wouldn't want to kill Einstein.
I'm not saying violence, but
just give him a lobotomy, right?
I'm just saying, imagine if he didn't exist.
No, back then it was normal. No, hold on. Back then it was normal to lobotomize people. Right? Am I wrong about that? That was like accepted science back then. They did it to Kennedy's sister. That's not that long ago.
I
mean, now we look back and it's barbaric, like, gay therapy.
Oh, Einstein? Yeah, he probably was around during the era of lobotomies.
Like, what
It'd be
other
such a
mind
shame,
would
dude.
came up with that?
Regardless of
Try
if
to
you think it.
imagine. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't go say that.
You imagine the arguments like, we're not going to kill him. We're just going to, instead of pierce his ear, we're going to, pierce his lobes, his frontal lobes. Not a big deal, right, guys? I mean, Kennedy's sister was allegedly sneaking out at night. So, what's the answer to that? Like, if you love your daughter, you'll fucking pierce her frontal lobes, right? You don't want her to be a whore. Pierce those lobes. Stir it up.
Didn't they stick a thing in a person's nose and like bang it up, or is that what you're talking about, Larry?
Yeah, the frontal lobotomy, they go through the eye socket and they pierce the brain. I believe it was the psychiatrists that were doing it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Standard practice back in the day. I think they'll bring it back. You know what I mean?
Who the fuck came up with that idea and was the first person to try it? Can you imagine that?
Probably the Germans.
That's so insane. Probably, yeah.
Or the Japanese, right? It definitely wasn't the banker.
Imagine if we'd taken this radiant energy to its limits and followed like a Tesla style world where we can actually, manipulate energy instead of manipulating space and time. Imagine where we'd be right now.
Where would we be? Without the internet, would we live in mud huts?
The internet is all Tesla, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Did you ever see a space-time
Very
internet
true.
fabric? Think about what you're saying, bro.
Yeah. I'm just fucking around. I guess we wouldn't have GPS as we know it. It can explain a lot of different stuff though. You can use that paradigm to explain electric fields. They actually made a model. I wish I could remember the name of the model, but they included all of Einstein's stuff, all of his equations, all of his equation sets, and they were able to include another term that accounted for all of the electromagnetism in the world as well. So they're able to do both of those things, but they couldn't fit. What couldn't they fit in there? I guess quantum mechanics. I wish I knew the name of the theory, but it's pretty incredible. And whenever they used Einstein's postulates and they tried to come up with how electricity and magnetism would work in this area, the Maxwell's equations just kind of spit right out of it. So that's another feather in Einstein's hat, is that his set of equations can also account for electromagnetism. That's crazy.
You mean his wife's set of equations?
Well, whoever's.
So you're saying we'd have to get Mrs. Einstein? Black bagger.
I don't know how the world fell for that. I just can't imagine how the world fell for that.
Well, somebody controlled the media, right? The bankers. The banksters. Because remember, the first bad guy in the first animated Superman was a mad scientist named Tesla? They was demonizing him.
That's right.
Just realized Piers is already gone.
And what's his name? Electrocuted, meaning killed. Cution, meaning killed. A live elephant, to prove that it was dangerous.
That's a hell of a demo.
Have you ever been shocked with DC versus AC? I mean, lots of people have been zapped by AC. You know what that feels like, but DC. Have you ever taken a good hit?
Nope.
Yeah, it makes you drop it, as opposed to AC, which makes you hold on tighter than you can consciously overpower. So in that sense, I mean, he didn't have to electrocute an elephant to prove it, but there is an element of more danger at low frequency AC. You get high enough frequency, and then a skin effect takes over, and you don't feel it. Well, you feel like a vibration of it, but it doesn't actually penetrate your tissue.
Isn't that weird? You turn it up, and it's more safe.
Yeah, a skin effect.
If I hold the back of my wrist up against the microphone stand, I get a little tingle.
You get some. There's no like humming then if you're ungrounded like that. Yep.
How many watts is it?
He's talking about the polarity when he holds his guitar and sings at the same time. Is that what you're talking about?
No, just the microphone I'm speaking into now.
Oh.
Which kind of shocks me a little bit.
Well, if you guys ever have a half stack and a PA system, make sure you match the polarity. I think there was a movie that showed it, Almost Famous. When he grabbed the microphone to start singing, it zapped his ass. I was in a garage band for like 2.5 years. They called the cops so many times.